Chapter 630, The Furious Wu Qianer, 1, Oh, First Elder, what's the matter? The Feng family's patriarch hurriedly asked and descended the ladder handed to him by the First Elder. Otherwise, he really didn't know what to do. Patriarch Feng, come over and you'll know, the First Elder said with a smile. Then he whispered a few words in the Feng family's patriarch's ear, who walked in front of him, and the Feng family's patriarch returned to his seat obediently. Hee, Brother Wu, your daughter played this phoenix-seeking phoenix really well. I hope your daughter's wish will come true and find a good husband as soon as possible. At this moment, a patriarch started flattering Wu Ming again. Hee, that's too much. As the saying goes, there's always someone better. Qianer's tune might be passable, but which of the daughters who came to participate in the competition this year aren't talented people? Therefore, I really don't dare to be arrogant. Wu Ming said with slight modesty, but the smugness on his face couldn't be concealed. Patriarch Wu is too modest. With Miss Wu's talent, winning the championship is a matter of course, another patriarch echoed. Yes. Hee, actually, we can't just congratulate the Wu family head, we have to congratulate the Guan Yu family head too. A patriarch of a middle-class family brought up the topic. Moreover, he didn't realize that his words had already displeased someone. What does it have to do with me? Guan Yulong said irritably with a black face. Ah. If Miss Wu wins the championship, she will be the young madam of your Guan Yu family, so of course we have to congratulate you, Patriarch Guan Yu, the patriarch explained. However, after speaking, he realized that most of the patriarchs were looking at him as if they were watching a good show. No one wanted to echo him at all. What was going on? This was the first time he was qualified to participate in the Flower Appreciation Festival this year, so he was not aware of the entanglement between Guan Yulong and Wu Ming. Otherwise, he would not have said such words at all. However, he was rejected by the Guan Yulong family from then on because he thought he wanted to curry favor with the two families. The only Flower Appreciation Festival did not achieve his desired goal because no family was willing to befriend him after angering him. After all, basically all the top families followed Guan Yulong's lead. Are you so sure that Wu Qianer will win the championship? Guan Yulong narrowed his eyes and said lightly. Of course. Many patriarchs think highly of the Wu family's young miss, the patriarch said matter-of-factly. He had privately chatted with some patriarchs before the flower viewing convention began. Most of the patriarchs supported Wu Qianer, so he was so sure that Wu Yi would definitely win the championship. I don't think so. Guan Yulong rolled his eyes at Wu Ming and said without giving him any face. Ah. The patriarch was a little dumbfounded. What was going on? He could sense that something was amiss even if he was slow. Moreover, he happened to see the gloating expressions of many patriarchs, and his heart turned cold. Boo-hoo! Did he say something wrong again? Everyone didn't dare to speak because Guan Yulong was a little angry, so the atmosphere instantly became depressed. After a while, finally, a patriarch couldn't stand the oppressive atmosphere and said bravely, "Why isn't young Master Guan Yu here?" Sierra has something more important to do and hasn't rushed back yet, Guan Yulong said lightly. Alas! In fact, he knew very well that Sierra had run out because he didn't want to participate in the Flower Appreciation Festival. It was a little unreasonable not to participate in the Flower Appreciation Festival as the young master of the Guan Yu family, but he could still find a suitable excuse for his son. What is more important than the Flower Appreciation Festival? A patriarch said in disbelief, his face full of disapproval. Sierra went to the Alchemist Association to obtain the reward for the champion of this year's Flower Appreciation Festival. He'll be back in a few days, Guan Yulong explained calmly. You can't say anything about this reason, right? The prize for the champion of the flower viewing convention is a heaven-grade pill named the 100-Flower Pill. The 100-Flower Pill has the effect of beautifying and beautifying. No woman can refuse it at all. However, ordinary women can't afford the 100-Flower Pill because refining the 100-Flower Pill requires more than 100 famous flowers and herbs as the main ingredient. Not only does it take time and effort, but only alchemists can refine it. Therefore, the cost of 100 flower pill is extremely high, and 100 flower pill on the market can be sold for a sky-high price. Oh, no wonder. The patriarch nodded in understanding. May I know if young master you from the Taoist temple can rush back before the flower appreciation festival ends? Wu Ming asked casually. Of course you can, Guan Yulong said confidently. Humph. Sierra promised him that he would return before the flower viewing convention ended. But why did I hear that young master Guan Yu only left home for 3 to 4 days? It took nearly a month to travel from Guan Yu City to Carefree City. Can young master Guan Yu really make it back in time? Wu Ming said with a spurious smile. Patriarch Wu, could it be that you burned your head because you fell into the toilet? My Sierra has obviously been away for almost a month. How is it 3 or 4 days like you said? You remembered it wrong, Guan Yulong lied through his teeth, and even revealed the embarrassing matter of Wu Ming falling into the toilet in public. Wu Ming was so angry that he couldn't say anything. Damn Guan Yulong, how dare he say this matter? Humph. He wouldn't let this old thing go. He would definitely have the chance to get rid of Guan Yulong when his precious daughter became the young madam of the Guan Yu family, so he could only bear with it now. Wow. Seems like the rumors are true. The patriarchs couldn't help whispering when they heard Guan Yulong's words. There had been rumors on the streets these 2 days that the Wu family's patriarch had fallen into the toilet. However, they had always thought that someone was being malicious. However, after hearing Guan Yulong's words today, they were sure that it was true. Immediately, the patriarchs looked at Wu Ming with a hint of gloating and pity. Wu Ming's face became as colorful as a color palette when he saw the strange gazes of the patriarchs. However, he couldn't flare up on the spot, so he could only swallow his anger. If he really became angry because of Guan Yulong's words, then it would probably become even more true. Chapter 631, The Furious Wu Qianer, 2. Guan Yulong was so happy seeing Wu Ming's expression change as if he had eaten a dead fly. Humph. Want to marry his daughter to his son? Dream on. That was simply a toad wanting to eat swan meat. Of course, the toad was referring to Wu Qianer. His son was a beautiful swan. Wu Qianer, who was in the middle of the stage, had already finished playing her last note. She stood up and nodded slightly to the audience, who gave her enthusiastic applause to thank her after Phoenix Seeking Phoenix was done. However, she immediately exploded when her gaze came to a corner of the audience. Damn it, why are you commoners here? Wu Qianer couldn't bear it anymore and roared when she saw Ling Ruoxue and the others. The audience immediately stared at her in disbelief when she roared. Damn! Was this the beautiful woman who was as elegant as a fairy just now? Why was the contrast so huge? The current Wu Qianer was a shrew. However, it was precisely because of her roar that everyone's gazes were successfully attracted to her in an instant. Everyone in the venue followed Wu Qianer's gaze and looked in the direction that made her angry. Immediately, everyone was dumbfounded and in disbelief. They all rubbed their eyes and realized that the person they saw just now was still around. Only then did they confirm that what they saw was real and not an illusion. Immediately, the audience exploded. Wow, how can there be such a beautiful woman? She's really too beautiful, an audience shouted in disbelief when they saw Ling Ruoxue. Ha, the stunning beauty I told you about a few days ago was her. Do you believe me now? A certain someone who had seen Ling Ruoxue on the street a few days ago also smiled happily. I wonder which family is she from, someone guessed. Probably not the daughters of noble families. Most of the daughters of noble families are participating in the Flower Appreciation Festival, someone immediately echoed. Hey, did you see the 3 stunningly beautiful men surrounding her? They're all rare handsome men. Who are those 3? Could they be from the 3 great families? Only the 3 great families can raise such an outstanding handsome man and beauty. The 5th elder, who was also sitting in the corner, looked at some people who were calm and composed in front of him and couldn't help but sigh in his heart. Their mental quality was really good. He was a little embarrassed as he listened to the discussions of those people and felt that his face was burning. However, these people didn't take it seriously at all, as if they were not the ones being discussed. That miss had been leaning on that freak and had no intention of getting up at all. He turned his head and looked at Wu Qian'er, who was so angry that she wanted to jump down and beat her up on the stage, and shook his head with slight disappointment. Then he sighed softly and thought to himself, alas! There's no comparison. Compared with Wu Qian'er, the daughter of a noble family who had received all sorts of training since she was young, this Miss Leng was more like a noble princess. No, more like the empress who was admired by everyone because Miss Leng's aura made even him, a man, feel inferior. She was really too strong. Damn it, I'm asking you a question. How dare you not answer me? After a while, Wu Qian'er couldn't help but flare up again when she saw that no one was paying attention to her. In fact, no one would notice that she was ignored at all if she didn't speak. However, because she exposed this fact, the audience, including some people in the VIP seats, all laughed loudly without giving any face. Guan Yulong laughed the loudest among them. So noisy. Leng Ruoxue, who had been pretending to be asleep with her eyes closed, slowly opened her beautiful eyes and said very displeased. Alas! There would always be trouble knocking on her door. Wu Qian'er was indeed unwilling to be left out and came knocking on her door. Ha, Shuer, there's a mad dog barking. You can ignore it. Empty, who was beside her, smiled gloatingly. I'm afraid I can't ignore it. Leng Ruoxue said helplessly. Then she looked at the fifth elder not far away, her beautiful eyes saying I didn't choose this. Alas! The fifth elder sighed helplessly after seeing Leng Ruoxue's expression. He knew now that it was useless even if he stayed by these people's side because Wu Qian'er was an unstable factor. That unruly daughter would not let them go even if these people didn't find trouble with Wu Qian'er. Miss Wu, who do you think you are? Do we have to answer you just because you ask us? Leng Ruoxue looked at Wu Qian'er, who was hopping mad on the stage and was as angry as a cockfight. I'm the eldest daughter of the Wu family. You commoner, answer my question quickly. Wu Qian'er roared furiously. What are lowly commoners? Leng Ruoxue asked in puzzlement. She seemed to have always heard people talking about lowly commoners since she came to the boundless heaven continent. Did those people think that their identities were very noble? Humph. People who didn't know how to respect others would never obtain others' respect. If you have problems with this website, please continue reading your novel on our new website MyBoxNovel. Thanks. Is there a need to ask? Of course, lowly commoners are referring to people like you, Wu Qian'er said with a smug face. Humph. These people had already been chased out of the inn by the Guanyu family, but they actually had the face to participate in the Flower Appreciation Festival. They were really too shameless. Miss, I'll go get rid of this pig. Feng De couldn't help but say when he heard that damn woman on the stage actually scolding his young miss. Humph. It didn't matter if she scolded them, but could others scold his young miss? Feng De, calm down. We are humans. We will not bicker with pigs. Leng Ruoxue said nonchalantly. Humph. It was not the time to teach Wu Qian'er a lesson yet. Today was only the first day of the Flower Appreciation Festival. Wu Qian'er could not be absent for the later rounds. Otherwise, it would be boring. Ha, Shuer is right. Humans can't be calculative with pigs. Feng De, calm down. Empty said with a light smile. Hee, the more nasty Wu Qian'er scolded now, the greater the blow she would suffer in the future. Therefore, scold. Scold as much as you want. It wouldn't hurt to be scolded by others. They wouldn't care now. However, this was the first time he was being scolded as a commoner after living for so long. He really didn't know if there were still good people in this world if they were all considered commoners. Chapter 632, The Furious Wu Qian'er, 3, Len Ruoshua looked up at Wu Qian'er on the stage and said calmly, "May I know what kind of people Miss Wu is?" "I'm the daughter of the Wu family. Of course, I can be considered one of the most honorable people in the boundless heaven continent." A confident smile hung on Wu Qian'er's beautiful face as she said cockily, "Oh, I hope Miss Wu will always remember what you said today," Len Ruoshua said with a light smile. Then she stopped talking and continued to lean in the freak's arms and closed her eyes. "Damn it, who allowed you to sleep? Lying in a man's arms in public is really too shameless." Wu Qian'er roared with some jealousy, her beautiful face a little distorted from anger. Humph. If she remembered correctly, it was this man who kicked her that day. However, she was in a fit of anger at that time, so she didn't pay too much attention to his appearance. She only realized that this man was actually so handsome today, even more outstanding than Guan Yushi. The other two men also had world-shaking features like heavenly people. The three of them were definitely comparable to the young masters of the three great families. However, she knew that these three people were not the three famous young masters. Then who were they? Why were all such outstanding men surrounding that woman who made her gnash her teeth in hatred? It was too much. She was so jealous that she was a little crazy. My woman is in the arms of her man. Who dares to say that she's shameless? The freak said with a cold face and very displeased. His bright starry eyes swept sharply at Wu Qian'er on the stage. If looks could kill, Wu Qian'er on the stage would probably be riddled with holes. You said she's your woman. What evidence do you have? Wu Qian'er said with a face full of jealousy. What? Do I still have to take out evidence to prove that Shuer is my woman? Could it be that you specialize in other people's illegal marriage? But I've never heard of anyone in the boundless heaven continent meddling in this matter. When did such an organization appear on the boundless heaven continent? The freak asked doubtfully. Everyone roared with laughter after hearing what the freak said. Fengde and the others were laughing so hard that they were almost rolling on the ground. Ha, she's a busybody. Fengde laughed until tears rolled down his cheeks, but he didn't forget to mock. And a bitch. Aren't you being too nosy? Lin Yuan said disdainfully. Humph. Wasn't it courting death to be jealous of his young miss? Even if they didn't attack, just one sentence from each of them was enough to make her vomit blood from anger. That's right. The audience echoed cooperatively. In the VIP seats. Guan Yulong looked at the commotion caused by Wu Qian'er and felt even more disgusted with her in his heart. However, this was not the Wu family's territory, so how could Guan Yulong tolerate Wu Qian'er ruining their Guan Yu family's flower appreciation festival? Wu Ming, how long does your daughter intend to stand on the stage for? Don't delay the other young ladies' competition, Guan Yulong reminded. However, he was also a little regretful in his heart. Why didn't Miss Leng take the opportunity to teach Wu Qian'er a lesson? He really didn't want Wu Qian'er to obtain the champion. Otherwise, he would have to fulfill his promise, and that was something he was absolutely unwilling to do. Wu Ming rolled his eyes at Guan Yulong and didn't say anything. However, he gave the butler beside him a look. After that, the butler beside him left the VIP seats. After the butler left, he looked at Len Ruoshua in the corner of the audience and pondered in his heart. Was this woman the one who got someone to beat up his daughter? What a rare beauty. Now he finally knew why Qian'er had a conflict with this woman. Guan Yulong, who was not far away, watched coldly from the side. Humph. He knew what tricks Wu Ming was up to without even guessing. However, he knew very well that Wu Ming was destined to be tragic because that woman was not to be trifled with. If Wu Ming dared to have any bad ideas, he would probably die without a burial place. On the stage, Wu Qian'er, who had received the butler's secret signal, walked down with a belly full of grievance. Humph. She would definitely not let that damn woman go. However, she had to wait for the Flower Appreciation Festival to end. After all, this competition was the most important to her. She still hoped to win the champion so that she could be the young madam of the Guan Yu family. As for the man, he might be more handsome than Guan Yushi, but his status was really not worthy of her, so forget it. She was destined to be high and mighty. How could she give up her bright future for a commoner? She couldn't help daydreaming. Backstage, the cute girl named Xinger couldn't help but say after seeing Wu Qianer, "Miss Wu, you were really too ungentlemanly just now. How could you shout and shout at the audience?" If you have problems with this website, please continue reading your novel on our new website myboxnovel.com. Thanks. What does this have to do with you? I'm happy. Wu Qianer immediately released her pent-up anger when she saw Xinger's gloating face. Their Wu family was on par with the Luo family, so others would give Luo Xinger some face, but she was not afraid of Luo Xinger at all. You really don't know what's good for you. I'm just concerned about you. Luo Xinger said aggrievedly. Tears glittered in her clear eyes as if she was about to cry. No need. Wu Qianer didn't appreciate it at all. How could she easily believe in concern when she was in an aristocratic family? In fact, she was even worried about the so-called friendship. Sister Xinger, Miss Wu is in a bad mood. Cut it out. Bai Feng walked to Luo Xinger and comforted her understandingly. They had seen everything that happened backstage clearly. They didn't know what feud Wu Qianer had with those people, but the protection of that incomparably handsome man for his woman had already penetrated deep into her heart. Alas! As a woman, didn't she desire a man who could protect her the most? Therefore, the scene just now had already left a deep ripple in her heart. Big Sister Feng, I'm just being nice. Luo Xinger muttered softly, feeling a little guilty. In fact, she wanted to see a joke, but she didn't expect Wu Qianer to really not give her any face, so she couldn't help but feel a little embarrassed. Chapter 633, The Furious Wu Qianer. 4. Sister Xinger, Miss Wu is in a bad mood, so don't provoke her. It's my turn next, so you have to be good. Bai Feng coaxed gently. After Wu Qianer left the stage, a few more young ladies went on stage to compete in succession. However, their talents were far inferior to Wu Qianer's, so they didn't attract much attention. She was next. Thinking of this, she couldn't help being a little nervous. Okay. Luo Xinger nodded obediently. She also knew that women in a rage couldn't be provoked, so she naturally wouldn't provoke Wu Qianer again. Little Sister Xinger, I'm going on stage. Bai Feng heard the host calling her name. She greeted Luo Xinger and walked elegantly onto the stage. After Bai Feng went on stage, she didn't say anything unnecessary. Instead, she looked around the audience with her beautiful eyes that were as limpid as autumn water. When her gaze reached the seats of Leng Ruoxue and the others, her gaze even swept lightly over the freak. Unfortunately, the freak didn't even raise his head, which couldn't help making her a little disappointed. She sat down in front of the zither with a depressed heart. She also wanted to perform with the zither, but the tune was different from Wu Qianer's. Wu Qianer played the melodious and tactful phoenix seeking phoenix, while she wanted to play the majestic and imposing general's endowment. When her first note floated into the ears of everyone present, it couldn't help making their eyes light up. The guests and audience below the stage did not expect this woman, who looked as weak as water, to play such an exciting tune. For a time, everyone looked at Bai Feng in a different light, and Bai Feng became the focus of everyone's attention as she wished. This woman isn't simple. Empty looked at Bai Feng, who was performing in the middle of the stage, and said meaningfully in the corner of the audience. She is the concubine daughter of the Bai family, Bai Feng. She might not be from the first wife, but she is one of the best among the daughters of the Bai family. Not only is she beautiful, but she is also talented. If you don't like her, I am willing to be your matchmaker, the fifth elder said hurriedly. Unfortunately, he expressed his feelings wrongly. I say, old man, do you think that woman is worthy of our family's Commander Wu? Isn't that a toad lusting for swan meat? Stop worrying about that. Feng De pouted gently and said disdainfully. To be honest, he had always hated women who seemed weak because such women were too good at pretending. Moreover, all the weak and pitiful women he had seen were scheming. Ah! The fifth elder was depressed. Boo-hoo! Why was it so difficult to curry favor with them? He would say the wrong thing accidentally. Alas! He just wanted to curry favor, but he did it on purpose. However, that Bai Fong was really not worthy of his excellency. Ha, fifth elder, thank you. However, I'm not the one who likes you. Empty glanced at the freak and teased with a light smile. He had lived for so long and had seen countless people. Therefore, how could that woman's thoughts be hidden from him? Unfortunately, that woman was destined to not get what she wanted. Ah! The fifth elder looked at the smile on Empty's face and then followed his gaze to gently glance at the man who was as beautiful as a freak. He pondered in his heart, what does your excellency mean? Could it be that Bai Fong has taken a liking to this freak? Ah! Then she's dead for sure. A woman who dares to snatch another man won't have a good end. Moreover, her opponent is the woman that even their Guan Yu family is quite afraid of. Alas! Bai Fong is plucking fur from a tiger. She's really tired of living. Fifth elder, how many people are behind you? Len Ruoxue opened her beautiful eyes and asked lightly. Ah! There are still many more. Fifth elder said after some thought. Many families sent their daughters to participate in the competition, so the number of people participating in the first round was the greatest. Fifth elder, well, go back first today. I won't be coming for the next few days. However, I'll be coming for the finals, so you can rest assured. Len Ruoxue gave the fifth elder a pill to calm him down so that he wouldn't be on tenterhooks. Alas! These performances were really boring. She would rather find someone to have a good fight with than see those women flirting on the stage. Ah! When did she become so violent? Go back now. But the competition has just begun, fifth elder said in surprise. Yes, I'm not interested in these competitions, Len Ruoxue said honestly. She stood up with the freak and then turned to Empty. Continue staying here if anyone wants to watch. However, be careful. I'm not interested in these things either, Empty said softly, implying that he wanted to leave with Schwer. After all, he wouldn't have come here to show himself if he didn't want to accompany Schwer and the others. Miss, well, go back with you, Fengde and the others said hurriedly. Alas! They were quite disappointed in the Flower Appreciation Assembly. Those famous flowers and famous grass were quite good-looking, but those young ladies from noble families were nothing to look at. Who would be interested in these ordinary women in front of their Miss Stunning appearance all day long? Then let's go. Len Ruoxue said with a light smile. Just like that, they strode out of the venue of the Flower Appreciation meeting under the accompaniment of Bai Fang's magnanimous zither music. On the stage, Bai Fong was instantly depressed when she saw the person she was paying attention to leave without hesitation. She accidentally played the zither wrong. Fortunately, her reaction was fast enough, so the effects were not too big. She hurriedly walked off the stage after playing. The fifth elder watched as Len Ruoxue and the others left. He looked at their backs and then at Bai Fong, who was fleeing in a sorry state. He sighed helplessly. Alas! Women who think too highly of themselves were the worst. Ah! His antidote. Suddenly, he remembered that he was still in disguise. However, when he chased after her, she was long gone. When he ran to the Alchemist Association, he was told by the people of the Alchemist Association that they were all in seclusion. Therefore, he could only live with this unfamiliar face for several days gloomily. There were a few times that he was almost rejected by the Guan Yu family. Boo-hoo. If you have problems with this website, please continue reading your novel on our new website myboxnovel.com. Thanks. After Len Ruoxue and the others left for a while, Ningde, who was sitting on pins and needles in the VIP seats, realized that his young miss and the others had all disappeared. Upon seeing this, he hurriedly greeted Guan Yu along and left the Flower Appreciation Convention in a hurry. However, when he returned to the association, he was also informed that everyone was in seclusion. He was depressed when he heard this. Chapter 634, By Fang's Little Thoughts. 1. 5 days later. Leng Ruoxue and the others left the bracelet with smiles and came to the yard. Ha, miss, we can finally advance to Great Mystic, Feng De said happily. They had gained a lot from cultivating in seclusion in the bracelet for 5 days. They could take the Silver Snow Pill and become Mystic Kings after advancing to Great Mystic. Hee, this was great. Okay, let's advance first and then go to the Flower Appreciation meeting. Today is the finals. Leng Ruoxue reminded. Hee, the highlight was today. Yes, Feng De and the others quickly agreed. To them, the flower viewing convention was just a pastime. Improving their strength was the most important. Alas! It's so good to be young. Leng Qingtian looked at the energetic young people in front of him and sighed with emotion. Young people's cultivation speed was indeed faster than these old fellows. Old man Lin and the others had been in seclusion for a much longer time than Feng De and the others, but there had been no movement until now. Alas! He didn't know how it was. Ha, of course it's good to be young, the little old man hurriedly echoed. Little Peacock, bring us to the place where Grandpa advanced last time. Leng Ruoxue summoned the little peacock from the bracelet and ordered. Yes, miss, the little peacock hurriedly answered. Then, after everyone sat on its back, it left the Alchemist Association with Leng Ruoxue and the others and flew toward the same place as last time. About an hour later, the little peacock brought everyone to the uninhabited mountain where Leng Qingtian advanced last time. The little peacock stopped flying and said to Leng Ruoxue, Miss, we're here. Okay. Leng Ruoxue nodded. They jumped off the little peacock's back after it landed. Big brother, find a place to advance each. Leng Ruoxue reminded. Okay. Leng Ruhan nodded. Then everyone scattered and chose a spacious place to sit down. They released their beasts and prepared to advance. After a while, everyone's heaven-earth laws descended one after another. Immediately, golden light flashed all over the barren valley, rising and falling, continuing for a long, long time. After Leng Ruhan and the others advanced to Great Mystic, Leng Ruoxue gave each of them a silver snow pill. After everyone took the silver snow pill, a new wave of advancement arrived as scheduled not long later. After a long while, the noisy valley finally returned to its former calm. Leng Ruoxue was very happy seeing the excited expressions on everyone and the beasts' faces. Ha, their strength had improved again. Miss, I'm a mystic monarch too, Lu Tao said happily as she ran to Leng Ruoxue excitedly. Yes, congratulations, Leng Ruoxue said happily. Then she looked at Cui Zhu, who was not far away. These two girls were the first people she saw after she opened her eyes, and they were her subordinates who had followed her from the beginning. They were now mystic monarchs, and she was very happy for them. If you have problems with this website, please continue reading your novel on our new website myboxnovel.com. Thanks. Miss, boo-hoo. Cui Zhu missed you so much. Cui Zhu, who had been excited, hurriedly ran over and sobbed after receiving Leng Ruoxue's gaze. She could finally keep up with Miss' footsteps. She had been cultivating in the space since she emerged from seclusion last time because she didn't want to be Miss Burden. She had always hoped that she could help Mississippi. Silly girl, haven't you always been by my side? Leng Ruoxue said helplessly. But, Cui Zhu pouted. She often went into seclusion. Alright, you're all mystic monarchs now. You can be considered powerhouses on the boundless heaven continent. Don't be like a child and cry all the time. Leng Ruoxue coaxed softly. Then she couldn't help reaching out to pinch Cui Zhu's face. Hee, she found that Cui Zhu was becoming more and more cute. Her little face was red, making her want to ravage it. Miss. Cui Zhu sighed helplessly. Boo-hoo. She was not Qing Zhu. Why did Miss pinch her face? Ha, our Cui Zhu is becoming cuter and cuter, Len Ruoxue couldn't help teasing. Miss is too evil to bully Cui Zhu. Boo-hoo. I'm going to ignore you. Cui Zhu ran to a corner to hide shyly after speaking. Ha! Everyone and the beasts couldn't help laughing when they saw Cui Zhu's actions. Hee, Miss was right. Cui Zhu was indeed very cute. Alright, stop laughing. We should leave this place. The Flower Appreciation Festival is about to begin. Len Ruoxue reminded. They still had to watch the show. With that, she pulled the freak directly onto the little peacock's back, and then everyone sat down. Miss, sit tight. I'm going to take off, the little peacock said. With that, it flapped its two powerful wings, flying straight toward the blue skies. After returning to Moon-Gazing City, Len Ruoxue ordered Little Peacock to go to the Alchemist Association first because she was afraid that Ningda would be waiting for them in the association. After all, she had asked someone to tell Ningda that he would come out of seclusion 5 days later. After the Little Peacock flew everyone back to the yard, they saw Ningda waiting for them at the yard gate gloomily as if he had been abandoned. Miss, where did you go? Ningda looked at the little peacock that landed in front of him and couldn't help asking. Boo-hoo. He thought that Miss and the others had yet to come out of seclusion, so he didn't dare to disturb them at all and had been waiting outside the yard. However, he didn't expect Miss and the others to not be here. This couldn't help making him feel a little uncomfortable. Could it be that Miss ultimately couldn't accept him? Ha, old Ning. We went to advance. I'm a mystic monarch now, Fengde interrupted happily. Ah. After Fengde finished speaking, Ningda, who had been wallowing in self-pity, realized that they were actually mystic monarchs. Boo-hoo. Perverts. How many silver snow pills did Miss have? Fengde and the others were only elementary mystic 5 days ago, but their cultivation levels were actually the same as his now. He was also a mystic monarch, and it took him a long time to advance. However, these people were all Miss subordinates, so it was normal for them to be so abnormal, he comforted himself. Ningda, come up. Let's go to the Flower Appreciation Festival, Len Ruoxue said to Ningda, who had been standing there foolishly. Chapter 635, By Fang's Little Thoughts, 2. Oh. Ningda jumped onto the little peacock's back and then looked at Len Ruoxue hesitantly. He hesitated for a while and finally couldn't help saying, Miss, give me a appearance-changing pill too. I can sit with you this way. He had been wanting to refine a few appearance-changing pills these few days, but he actually didn't have enough herbs on hand, so he could only give up helplessly. Okay. Len Ruoxue agreed without hesitation. In fact, she didn't give Ningda the appearance-changing pill on the first day for Guan Yulong to see. She just wanted Guan Yulong to know what choice she should make. She was a pacifist after all. Hee. Really? Ningda looked at Len Ruoxue in disbelief. Boo-hoo. Why did Miss agree so easily? All the excuses he had already thought of were useless. Of course, I never lie, Len Ruoxue said with a light smile. Ha, the reason why I didn't give you the appearance-changing pill last time was that I hoped Guan Yulong could make a sensible choice. It was also to let him know that the Alchemist Association didn't fall out with their Guanyu family, Len Ruoxue added and explained her thoughts simply. Oh, I understand, Ningda said happily. Boo-hoo. He thought that he was despised by Miss because he was an outsider. He was immediately happy knowing that it was not for this reason. Ningda, did the major families do anything these few days? Len Ruoxue asked casually. The Guanyu family has always been very quiet. However, the Wu family has been asking about the residences of Miss and the others. Moreover, there seem to be a few forces secretly asking about Miss and the others. Ningda reported everything he knew, afraid that he would miss a single thing. Which forces are they? Len Ruoxue couldn't help asking. The Luo and Bai families, Ningde answered honestly. The Luo family and the Bai family? Len Ruoxue frowned in thought. She had no dealings with the Luo family. Could it be that the Bai family wanted to avenge that Bai Ru? The Luo family might not be as strong as the Wu family, but they have always been on good terms with the Guanyu family. As for the Bai family, they are only at the bottom. Logically speaking, they should be paying attention to the movement of the Guanyu family the most, but they sent people to inquire about Mississippi. I really don't know why. Ningde said doubtfully. He had actually thought about this question for a few days, but he had never thought of an answer. Could it be that they want to have ideas about Miss? Aren't they overestimating their capabilities? Fengde guessed with a face full of disdain. Not just anyone could have ideas about his young miss. Not to mention that Commander Yi would fly into a rage, even they wouldn't do it. Anyone who dares to have designs on Shuer, die, the freak roared directly without thinking after hearing Feng Da's words. Oh right, miss, there's another thing. Wu Qian'er was beaten up again a few days ago. 2 drops of cold sweat hung on Ningde's forehead as he thought, alas. Violent freak, unlucky Wu Qian'er. Beaten up by who? It seems like she has a lot of enemies, Len Ruoxue asked curiously. That Wu Qian'er was really unlucky. However, she didn't want the person who beat up Wu Qian'er to ruin her matter. Therefore, she hoped that Wu Qian'er didn't lose an arm or a leg. Otherwise, she definitely wouldn't let the person who beat Wu Qian'er off. I don't know. Ningde was also a little puzzled. He knew that Miss and the others definitely didn't do this. Who could it be? He couldn't understand. Is Wu Qian'er's injury serious? Len Ruoxue asked with concern. Not serious, just some superficial wounds. She went on stage normally the next day after taking our association's pills. Ningde said with a naughty smile. He gave Wu Qian'er the snake accumulation pill that he refined together last time. Yes, well done. Wu Qian'er can't be absent from the competition, Len Ruoxue praised. If you have problems with this website, please continue reading your novel on our new website MyBox Novel. Thanks. Miss, we've arrived at the venue of the Flower Appreciation Festival, the little peacock suddenly interrupted. It took off as soon as Ningde sat on its back. However, because the venue was not very far, it only flew for a few minutes before reaching its destination. Okay. Len Ruoxue and the others jumped down from the little peacock's back. The little peacock landed at the entrance they entered from on the first day. Moreover, there was no one else at the door except for the guards. The group walked straight into the venue in a grandiose manner. The guards at the door hurriedly bowed when they saw them and then watched their backs very respectfully. Miss Leng, you're finally here. The 5th elder, who had been waiting in the venue, ran to them as soon as Len Ruoxue and the others entered. 5th elder. Len Ruoxue looked doubtfully at the 5th elder, whose eyes were brimming with tears. Ah! What was going on? Why did 5th elder look like he had seen a long-lost relative when he saw their expressions? Was there a need to? Miss Leng, quickly give me the antidote to the appearance-changing pill. Boo-hoo, 5th elder choked. It had been 5 days, and he had been in deep water and fire every day. The patriarch and 1st elder laughed hysterically when they saw him, while the other elders and clansmen kept staring at him doubtfully. No matter where he went, almost everyone would find an excuse to follow him, afraid that he would sneak into the Guanyu family to cause trouble. Boo-hoo. He was really too pitiful. Ha, 5th elder, I can't give you the antidote if you still want to sit with us today. Len Ruoxue said with a smile. He. She really forgot about the antidote. However, she believed that 5th elder's life these few days must be very exciting. Miss Leng, I'm not sitting with you anymore, the 5th elder said tactfully. It was the last day. He was helpless alone if anything really happened. He knew very well that the patriarch could not stop Leng Ruoxue and the others from finding trouble if they really wanted to. Therefore, he shouldn't court disaster. Oh, then eat this. Leng Ruoxue took out a pill from her ring and handed it to the fifth elder. Thank you, Miss Leng. Fifth elder took the pill and hurriedly threw it into his mouth. Fifth elder, please tell your patriarch that the flower appreciation meeting will end today. The time limit I gave him is 3 days, Leng Ruoxue reminded him. After speaking, she led everyone past the fifth elder and walked toward their seats from last time. Chapter 636, By Fang's Little Thoughts, 3. The fifth elder looked at the backs of Leng Ruoxue and the others and sighed softly. Alas! What should come will come. This eldest miss was indeed a trustworthy person. The Flower Appreciation Festival would end today. He knew that if they couldn't give Leng Ruoxue a satisfactory answer, their moon-gazing family would probably become history. Leng Ruoxue and the others walked to the corner of the audience and sat down. Miss, what do you intend to do with the Guanyu family? Feng De couldn't help asking curiously as soon as he sat down. That will depend on the Guanyu family's sincerity. Leng Ruoxue said with a light smile. She didn't like violence, so it would naturally be best if it could be resolved peacefully and satisfy her. Shuer, I think the patriarch and first elder of the Guanyu family are sensible people. However, it's hard to say for the Wu family. Leng Qingtian said after some thought. Grandpa, the Wu family won't let us go. They are waiting for the Flower Appreciation Festival to end just like us, Leng Ruoxue said understandingly. The audience in the venue was almost here as Leng Ruoxue and the others conversed softly. The eyes of the audience lit up when they saw that the empty seats were finally full again today. Wow, I didn't expect to finally see them again today, an audience whispered excitedly, afraid to disturb them. Yes. Beauty was always pleasing to the eye, so everyone was naturally happy to see the stunning beauty in their hearts. Miss, those people seem to be talking about you. Cui Zhu said excitedly. Calm down, just ignore it. We are only small supporting characters. We can't become the focus of everyone and steal the limelight from those young ladies from the influential families. Otherwise, we will definitely become public enemies. Leng Ruoxue said calmly and earnestly. Miss, this isn't something we can control. Cui Zhu said speechlessly. In fact, what she wanted to say was that Miss, you have long been the public enemy of those young ladies from noble families. You probably can't keep a low profile even if you want to. It doesn't matter. It's enough as long as we can take care of ourselves. It's their business what the others want. We can't interfere. However, the prerequisite is that they don't provoke me. Leng Ruoxue said with a light smile. Then she leaned into the freak's arms and leaned comfortably on him. Okay. Cui Zhu looked at Miss Lazy Appearance and sighed helplessly before looking at the stage. At this moment, the host had already stood in the middle of the stage and was giving a routine speech. After his long speech, he directly announced that the finals of the flower viewing convention had begun. After 6 days of preliminaries and semi-finals, only the 5 daughters of the noble families were qualified to participate in the final. There would be 3 rounds of competition today. According to the rules of the finals, the talents for the first 2 rounds were specified in advance. The other round was to choose their own talents, so the 5 daughters of the noble families would show their best talents and compete. After the first young lady from a noble family went on stage to perform, Leng Ruoxue couldn't help closing her eyes in boredom in the audience. To be honest, she actually wanted to give this young lady some face. However, this unknown young lady was performing the zither, and the tune she played made her want to sleep, so she had to follow her heart. Alas! She couldn't be blamed for this. Wow! Which family's young lady is this? The tune she plays actually makes me want to sleep. Well, if I have insomnia in the future, find her to play a tune so that we can have a good night's sleep, Feng De said very viciously. Damn, This was obviously a hypnosis song. Was this the top 5 of the Flower Appreciation Festival? Who selected this? Wasn't this deceiving the audience? Fortunately, they didn't spend money to buy tickets in, otherwise, they would definitely get the Guan Yu family to refund the tickets because this was obviously red fruit deceiving the consumers. Hehe, the grand finals of the Flower Appreciation event takes a comprehensive score. Her piano skills are very ordinary, but being able to enter the grand finals means that she has still obtained recognition in other areas of talent, Ningda, who had participated in the Flower Appreciation event many times, explained. Oh, old Ning. Then do you think this young lady has a chance of becoming the champion? Fengde asked curiously. If you have problems with this website, please continue reading your novel on our new website MyBox Novel. Thanks. Definitely not, Ningda said resolutely. With Wu Qian'er around, the champion would definitely not fall into the hands of others. The other young ladies from the families were just Wu Qian'er's sidekicks. How could they snatch her limelight? Old Ning. Do you mean that the other daughters of noble families are not as outstanding as Wu Qian'er? Fengde said in disbelief. Why didn't he think that Wu Qian'er was so good? A woman who couldn't even compare to a strand of their young Miss hair could probably only show off in front of these second-rate daughters. What I mean is that the Wu family is very despicable. Even if Wu Qian'er isn't the best, Wu Ming will sweep away all obstacles for her. However, Wu Qian'er is indeed talented, so it's not wrong for the champion to fall to her. Ningda frowned and explained. While the two of them were chatting privately, the competition between the first young lady of the aristocratic family had already ended. The second person to go on stage happened to be Wu Qian'er. The zither was one of Wu Qian'er's best talents, so after she went on stage, she only bowed slightly to the audience on the stage and directly sat in front of the zither table to play. What is this? Why does it resemble Phoenix seeking Phoenix? Fengde couldn't help asking as he listened to the pleasant and melodious tune on the stage. This should be Phoenix Flight. Ningda listened carefully and then said, Ah. It seemed like Wu Fu'er was determined to marry. With this in mind, his eyes gently glanced at the VIP seats. He heard that the young master of the Guan Yu family would be coming today, but he didn't see it. Alas! The young master of the Guan Yu family is really unlucky to be remembered by such a woman, Fengde said with a face full of sympathy. Shuer, do you think Wu Qian'er will cause trouble for us after the performance? Empty, who was beside Leng Ruoxue, asked very curiously, his beautiful face actually full of anticipation. Chapter 637, Please Sell Us Together. 1. Not if she has a brain, Leng Ruoxue said indifferently with her eyes closed. Ha, she's brainless, Empty said disdainfully, not optimistic about Wu Qian'er's intelligence. Doesn't she still have her father? Wu Ming, that old man isn't stupid, Leng Ruoxue said understandingly. In fact, she was really right. Even if Wu Qian'er wanted to cause a fuss, she didn't have the guts to do so as long as the competition didn't really end because Wu Ming had already given her an ultimatum. He said that if she dared to do what she did on the first day, he would definitely not let her go. Therefore, as long as the champion didn't fall on her head, she wouldn't dare to cause trouble even if she was given 100 guts. Therefore, she hurriedly left the stage after playing the song because she was afraid she wouldn't be able to control herself if she stayed for another second. Ha! Seems like you were right. Empty teased after seeing Wu Qian'er glare at them and then run away. In fact, Wu Qian'er is also a little smart. Unfortunately, her jealousy is too strong, so she's destined not to achieve anything big, Leng Ruoxue analyzed. Well, she didn't mean that she couldn't be jealous, but it was the worst if she developed a possessive desire for something that didn't belong to her. Wu Qian'er's situation was like this because as far as she knew, the young master of the Guan Yu family didn't want to marry her at all. However, she had already treated herself as the young madam of the Guan Yu family, so it could be seen how unrequited she was. If it weren't for this thought of hers, they probably wouldn't have had a conflict at all, nor would she have targeted the Wu family. Even if she isn't jealous, She won't be able to achieve anything with her character, Empty said objectively. Yes. Leng Ruoxue nodded. After Wu Qian'er's competition ended, Bai Fang and the other three young ladies also went on stage one by one. After Bai Fang went on stage, her clear eyes swept lightly in the direction of Leng Ruoxue and the others, and then her gaze fixed on the freak. However, she quickly looked away and directly began her performance after staring for a few seconds. However, the man she liked didn't even look at her until the end of her song, which couldn't help making her feel very disappointed. Therefore, she left the stage with a resentful face after playing the song. Ha! Swear, you have a worthy opponent. Empty couldn't help teasing when he saw Bai Fang's happy and slightly resentful expression. Opponent? Is she worthy? Leng Ruoxue said nonchalantly. Humph. Not every woman was qualified to be her opponent. Women who coveted her man also had to pay the price. In fact, she had felt Bai Fang's gaze that day, but she just ignored it. Ha, she's really not worthy, Empty said with a loud laugh. His hearty laughter immediately attracted the attention of many people, causing Leng Ruoxue and the others to become the focus of everyone again. Empty, that's enough. If you continue smiling, those audience might eat you up. Leng Ruoxue also teased. Well, the destructive power of the peerless handsome man's smile was not small, so she forbade the freak from laughing in front of outsiders. You should keep an eye on your man. I don't dare to trouble you with my affairs, Empty said hurriedly because he could already feel a certain freak's gaze staring at him with ill intentions. TCH, my man is very obedient, Leng Ruoxue said confidently. Yes, yes. I'm very obedient. The freak took the opportunity to quickly express his opinion. He was a filial fiancé. He had to be obedient. The three of them chatted happily in their seats, and the competition on the stage continued. Unknowingly, the first round of the competition had already ended. The second round of the competition was dance. Everyone chose their best dance to participate in the competition. After the five of them went on stage one by one and performed their dance, the scores for the first two rounds were out. Among them, Wu Qian'er had the highest total score for the 2 rounds of the competition and was temporarily in first place. The second place was Bai Fang, and the third place was Luo Xing'er. However, the three of them had very close scores, so in theory, the three of them had hope of becoming the champion. The other two young ladies could only be their contrast. The third round of the competition was to choose their own talents. This was also the last competition of this year's flower viewing convention because the 5 young ladies would definitely not hide anything anymore. After the third round of the competition began, the one with the lowest score went on first according to the scores for the first 2 rounds. Therefore, the daughter who was ranked last was the first to go on stage. After the 2 rounds of the competition, the daughters of the last 2 rankings were officially eliminated. After all, the audience wanted to see the performance of the top 3 more, so there were naturally not many people paying attention to the performance of the first 2 daughters. The third to go on stage was the daughter of the Luo family, Luo Xing'er. After the cute girl went on stage, she began the performance without hesitation. After Luo Xing'er's performance, it was Bai Fang's turn. If you have problems with this website, please continue reading your novel on our new website myboxnovel.com. Thanks. In fact, the true competition of this year's flower viewing convention should be between her and Wu Qian'er. Luo Xing'er might be outstanding, but she was indeed inferior to the 2 of them in terms of talent. Otherwise, Luo Xing'er would not have ended her competition with a random song just now. Big Sister Fang, you can do it. Not only was Luo Xing'er not depressed after getting off the stage, but she was also very happy to cheer for Big Sister Fang, whom she liked. She didn't like Wu Qian'er, so she really hoped that Big Sister Fang could win this championship. Okay, I will. Bai Fang nodded. With that, she walked directly onto the stage. However, this time, after she went on stage, she did not look in the direction of Leng Ruoxue and the others but directly began the performance. In the last match, her performance talent was still the zither because the zither was her best, and the tune she played was actually Phoenix Seeking Phoenix. Everyone in the audience and the VIP seats were stunned when the note was out because according to tradition, the other young ladies would not perform the songs that others had played in the competition. After all, the effect of the competition would be too obvious if two people performed the same song. The major families were obviously unwilling to offend the other families because of a competition. However, Bai Fang surprised everyone today. Chapter 638, Please Sell Us Together, 2, in the VVIP seats. Lord Bai, this song was played by my daughter. What does the daughter of the Bai family mean? Wu Ming glared at the patriarch of the Bai family with a displeased face and questioned. Ah. She's my brother's concubine's daughter. She hasn't seen much of the world since she was young, and it's her first time participating in such a competition today, so she probably doesn't know. She definitely didn't do it on purpose. Patriarch Wu, please believe me. Your daughter's zither skills are top-notch. Fanger can't compare. The patriarch of the Bai family wiped the cold sweat off his forehead and hurriedly explained. At the same time, he cursed the unruly Bai Fang half to death in his heart. Damn it, she shouldn't implicate their Bai family even if she wanted to die. Wu Ming was famous for being ruthless. Moreover, he had already warned Bai Fang to keep a low profile in this competition and not snatch the limelight from Wu Qianer. After all, their Bai family couldn't afford to offend the Wu family. However, Bai Fang actually ignored his words. He really didn't know what she wanted to do. So she's a bastard daughter. No wonder she's so unpresentable. Wu Ming mocked rudely. Hee, I'm sorry. The patriarch of the Bai family suppressed his anger. How could he have used a concubine daughter to participate in the competition if his daughter wasn't disappointing? In fact, he was still very satisfied with Bai Fang's performance these few days. After all, if his daughter participated in the competition, she might not have such good results. However, Bai Fang made him a little angry today, and she made him cry softly in front of the Wu family. He would settle this score with her when he returned. Ha! Do you not have confidence in your daughter winning the championship? If that's the case, let her withdraw from the competition directly so that she won't be embarrassed when the results are announced later. Guan Yuelong reminded coldly from the side after hearing their conversation. He was very happy to see someone defeat Wu Qianer. He just didn't know if those daughters of noble families had the guts. After all, many people were very afraid of the Wu family. Who said so? My daughter is the best. Wu Ming roared furiously. Is that so? Why can't I tell? Can you tell? Guan Yuelong said to the patriarch present with a face full of smiles, neither angry nor angry. The patriarch sitting in the VIP seats had black lines hanging on their foreheads when they heard Guan Yuelong's words. They thought to themselves, Patriarch Guan Yuelong, aren't you harming us? Even if they thought so in their hearts, they didn't dare to say it in front of Wu Ming. One had to know that Wu Ming was famous for being despicable. Who knew what kind of underhanded means he would play behind his back if they really displeased him? Often, no one dared to provoke such people. Why didn't anyone answer me? After a while, Guan Yuelong couldn't help asking angrily when he saw that no one responded. These people thought Wu Ming couldn't afford to offend them. Could he afford to offend them? Because everyone thinks my daughter is outstanding. Of course no one will respond to you, Wu Ming said in a good mood seeing Guan Yuelong deflated. The temperature of the scene immediately dropped several degrees after Wu Ming's words. No one dared to say anything seeing Guan Yuelong's ugly expression. Patriarch Guan Yu, is young Master Guan Yushi back? After a long while, a patriarch cleverly changed the topic, not daring to bear Guan Yuelong's anger. Yes, he's back, Guan Yuelong said lightly. Oh, didn't the young master come? The patriarch asked, as if he wanted to chat with Guan Yuelong. Unfortunately, Guan Yuelong was not interested at all because he was still angry. Of course he's here. He's not interested in someone's performance, so he should be here after the competition. Guan Yulong rolled his eyes at Wu Ming and said irritably. In fact, Xie was already here, but he didn't appear in the VIP seats. It's okay. He has to marry Qianer no matter if he's interested or not, Wu Ming said nonchalantly. Anyway, the Guan Yu family couldn't refuse as long as his daughter won the championship. Wait for your precious daughter to win the championship, Guan Yulong reminded her. However, he couldn't help thinking about how to prevent Wu Qianer from winning the championship. At this moment, two handsome men were also sitting in a corner on the other side of the audience. The two men were sitting diagonally opposite Leng Ruoxue and the others, so they could easily see Leng Ruoxue and the others. Hey, is that woman your sweetheart? Luo Fei looked at the drop-dead gorgeous beauty opposite him and asked with a face full of amazement. Yesterday, his sister had praised Bai Fang in front of him a lot, as if she was the only woman in the world. Later, she knew that the little girl planned to make Bai Fang her sister-in-law. After he knew, he couldn't help but laugh at the girl's whimsical thoughts. Not to mention whether he was interested in Bai Fang, it was impossible to become the young madam of the Luo family with Bai Fang's identity. If you have problems with this website, please continue reading your novel on our new website MyBox Novel. Thanks. Yes, your sister's taste isn't good either. That Bai Fang is very ordinary. Guan Yushi didn't expect to actually see Leng Ruoxue today and couldn't help teasing his good friend in a good mood. Yes, which woman isn't ordinary compared to your beloved? Luo Fei said speechlessly. Boo-hoo. He was not interested in Bai Fang at all. He didn't expect Guan Yushi to tease him with this. Alas. I just have a crush on her. She doesn't know of my existence, so don't spout nonsense. It won't be good if others misunderstand, Guan Yushi reminded very cautiously, his handsome face carrying a trace of disappointment. Then you're not allowed to talk about Bai Fang either. Let's not talk about anyone. Luo Fei began to state his conditions. Okay. Guan Yushi nodded in agreement. At this moment, Wu Qianer was playing her last song on the stage. The Flower Appreciation Festival had truly ended after her performance. Finally, the song ended. The entire competition ended when Wu Qianer's final note sounded. Miss, this time, Wu Qianer actually didn't play a tune like Happy Moon, Wedding Night, and the like. Instead, she chose a tune full of concepts like Mountain River. Unfortunately. This isn't her style, Fengde said with a look of pity. Ha! Fengde, I just found out that you know music today, Leng Ruoxue said in surprise. Chapter 639, Please Sell Us Together, 3, Hee, I just think that the last song she played was not nice and didn't match her style. Who asked her to be so desperate for marriage? Phoenix Seeking Phoenix and Phoenix in Flight have all been played. Shouldn't we enter the bridal chamber next? Fengde said with a smile. After all, this matched Wu Qianer's desire for marriage. Ah! 2 drops of cold sweat dripped down Leng Ruoxue's forehead uncontrollably. However, she had to admit that Fengde's words were reasonable. Fengde, Wu Qianer is staring at you. Empty reminded with a light smile. Alas! One was marked by the company one kept. Everyone around Shuer was so venomous. Upon hearing Empty's words, Fengde couldn't help but look up at Wu Qianer, who had just finished playing the song. Good gracious, she was indeed staring at her. Could it be that this woman had heard what he said just now? Then why didn't she flare up? This shouldn't be the case. This wasn't like her. Leng Ruoxue also looked up at Wu Qianer on the stage, and then said calmly, could it be that Miss Wu likes my subordinates? Damn it, what nonsense are you spouting? How can such a lowly person be worthy of me? Wu Qianer raised her head arrogantly like a phoenix and said very disdainfully. Hey, you big milk cow, who are you calling lowly? I don't care even if a woman like you comes to me for nothing. I advise you not to take yourself too seriously. You're not noble at all, Fengde said very rudely. Everyone in the audience roared with laughter when they heard the big milk cow's call. Wu Qian'er might not be tall, but her chest was extraordinarily spectacular, so they all felt that this name was very appropriate. Big milk cow. Damn it, you're the big milk cow. Wu Qian'er roared angrily. Her beautiful face flushed red with anger after hearing everyone's laughter. I'm sorry. It seems like I have to teach you. Only female milk cows produce milk, so I can't be called a milk cow. Moreover, I don't have such big breasts. Fengde said angrily. Why you? I won't let you go. Wu Qian'er was so angry that she was trembling. Her clear eyes glared at Leng Ruoxue and the others as she said fiercely. I wonder how Miss Wu wants to deal with us. Leng Ruoxue asked curiously with her beautiful face. I want to sell all of you to the brothel. However, before I go, I'll find a few strong men to play with you, haha. Wu Qian'er said a little smugly. Her intense anger made her forget what kind of place this was for a moment, so she accidentally said what was on her mind. The audience and the guests in the VIP seats were dumbfounded before Wu Qian'er finished speaking. They couldn't believe that such vicious words would be said by Wu Qian'er in public. I really couldn't tell that this daughter of the Wu family was so vicious. Yes. If the so-called daughters of noble families are all like this, I would rather marry a commoner woman. Well, I can't take this kind of woman even if she wants to. She's really too vicious. She can sell people because of a small dispute and wants to. If there's a conflict between husband and wife, I think she will murder her husband. Poor young Master Guan Yu. Everyone began discussing one after another, their voices so loud that even Wu Qian'er, who was still standing on the stage, couldn't ignore them. Damn it, all of you shut up. Wu Qian'er roared without caring about her image. Her anger made her beautiful face a little distorted. What? Miss Wu wants to sell us too, someone in the audience shouted. Hee, I just found out today that the Wu family is a human trafficker. It seems like we have to be careful lest we get caught and sold by her one day. Leng Ruoxue teased without being angry, and her beautiful face even had a drop-dead smile. Don't spout nonsense. Our Wu family is a top-notch family, not a human trafficker. Wu Qian'er was so angry that she lost her mind and roared like thunder. But you said you wanted to sell us and even said you wanted to find a few strong men to play with me. I don't know when you'll find them for me. I can't wait anymore. Leng Ruoxue narrowed her beautiful eyes and said anxiously. If you have problems with this website, please continue reading your novel on our new website MyBox Novel. Thanks. I'll definitely let you have your wish. Don't worry. Wu Qian'er said fiercely. Oh, when? Can you give me a time limit so that I won't wait for nothing? Leng Ruoxue asked anxiously, looking like she would not stop until she was given time. Let's sell them first, Wu Qian'er said proudly. Are you favoring men over women? What right do you have to sell them first before finding the burly man for me? You're a woman too. You can't be so biased. Leng Ruoxue said very displeased, her beautiful face full of grievance. What's the rush? Do you lack men that much? Wu Qian'er roared impatiently. For some reason, she felt that something was amiss, but she couldn't put her finger on it. I didn't lack it originally, but since you're going to sell my man, I lack it. Leng Ruoxue said matter-of-factly, still looking at Wu Qian'er aggrievedly. Swear, don't let her sell me away. Boo-hoo. I don't want to leave you. You have to protect me. The freak lay on Leng Ruoxue's shoulder and sobbed cooperatively. Alas. He had to cooperate since Shuer wanted to play. However, that woman Wu Qian'er was dead for sure. It was the first time in his life that a woman wanted to sell him away. She was really tired of living. Empty also had the same thoughts as the freak. However, they didn't say a word now and just looked at Wu Qian'er on the stage like they were watching a good show. Don't be scared. I will protect you. I will beg Miss Wu to sell us to the same brothel, Leng Ruoxua quickly comforted. Shuer, what about me? Empty looked at Leng Ruoxua and asked. His clear and innocent beautiful eyes stared at Leng Ruoxua intently. Moreover, there were faint tears in his eyes, as if he would cry directly if Shuer said anything wrong. Ah! I'll protect you too. 2 drops of cold sweat dripped down Leng Ruoxua's forehead as she said speechlessly. Chapter 640, Please sell us together, for, Miss, what should I do? No one can separate us. Boo-hoo, Lu Tao's eyes were red as she sobbed very sadly. Lass! You can't leave an old man like me behind. The little old man also participated and said pitifully. Hee, it was really fun. Even the 3 major families wanted to provide for him. However, the daughter of the Wu family actually wanted to sell them. Ah! He really wanted to know which brothel dared to take him in. Alas! Miss Wu, you see, my family and subordinates can't leave me, so you can't separate us. If you want to sell, you have to sell us together. Otherwise, I won't agree. Leng Ruoxua sighed and said helplessly. Yes, Miss Wu, please sell us together. I was wrong. I shouldn't have called you Big Milk Cow just now. Look at your figure. It's a pity to call you Big Milk Cow. I should call you Big Milk Cow with the best figure, Fengde said with a face full of regret. Why you all? Wu Qian'er was so angry that she was about to vomit blood, and she even stammered. At the same time, in the VIP seats. Upon hearing Wu Qian'er's words, Guan Yulong, who was drinking tea, spat out the tea that he had yet to swallow. Fortunately, it all happened to spray onto Wu Ming. Wu Ming, who was already very displeased, became even angrier seeing that he was sprayed with water. His daughter was spouting nonsense downstairs, and he got someone to spray water on him. One could imagine how terrible his mood was. I'm sorry, Brother Wu. Your daughter's words have really broadened my horizons, so, hee. I only found out today that the Wu family still has that kind of livelihood, Guan Yulong said with a smile. He had even changed his way of addressing Wu Ming to Brother Wu. It could be seen how good his mood was. Hee, even if Wu Qian'er won the champion of the flower viewing convention, he could rest easy. After all, he didn't believe that Wu Qian'er could live to the day she married her son after offending that eldest young lady. However, a young lady from an aristocratic family actually had such thoughts. He had to sigh that the Wu family's upbringing was indeed good. Humph. Children are insensible. You actually believe nonsense. It can be seen how low your intelligence is, Wu Ming said with slight sarcasm. He knew that Guan Yulong wanted to see him make a fool of himself, but how could he let this fellow do as he pleased? It's not important whether I believe it or not. It's not like you're selling me, Guan Yulong said nonchalantly. Hee, it was enough as long as Leng Ruoxua believed it. Guan Yulong, it's been so long. Why isn't the final ranking out yet? Wu Ming asked and directly changed the topic. He really didn't want to discuss the topic with Guan Yulong just now. Otherwise, he would be angered to death. Probably because the ranking isn't good. First Elder, go take a look. Don't make our brother Wu wait anxiously. He still has to take care of his business. Guan Yulong said to the First Elder happily and secretly made a gesture that only the two of them knew when no one was paying attention. The First Elder understood and then left the VIP seats. After the First Elder left the VIP seats, he looked at the judges' seats and then went to the audience to find his young master. Young master. First Elder looked at Guan Yushi. First Elder, why are you here? Guan Yushi asked in surprise. Ah. Could it be that father was looking for him? I'm here to take a look, the First Elder said with a smile. Alas. The Flower Appreciation Festival was about to end today, but he and the patriarch had yet to think of how to explain it to that eldest Mississippi. He couldn't help being a little worried when he thought of this. Sport. First Elder, you're really free. It's so lively over there, why isn't anyone caring? Luo Fei teased with a light smile. Care? Who? We can't care about the Wu family's young miss, First Elder said helplessly, his face full of difficulties. Hee, First Elder, who will be the champion of the Flower Appreciation Festival this time? Luo Fei asked the advisor knowingly. How would I know? I'm not a judge. First Elder glared at Luo Fei and said indifferently. If you have problems with this website, please continue reading your novel on our new website MyBox Novel. Thanks. Didn't you just come from the judging panel? You really don't know? Luo Fei said in disbelief. In fact, he just wanted to know if the champion was Wu Qian'er, but this old man insisted on keeping him in suspense. Alas. He was really anxious to death. I don't know. The judges are in a difficult position, and the champion is difficult to evaluate, so the result isn't out yet. It probably will take a while. First Elder explained. If the champion is Wu Qian'er, does she really have to marry that woman? Luo Fei asked curiously. Of course. Our Guanyu family is a very trustworthy family, the First Elder promised. Hee, they would keep their word, but they were afraid that the Wu family would not have the fortune. Looks like I have to congratulate you in advance, Luo Fei teased. Do you want to die? I won't marry her. Guan Yu rolled her eyes at Luo Fei, her handsome face full of displeasure. Hee. Can you do whatever you want? Luo Fei gloated. Since you're congratulating me, then I'll also congratulate you and Miss Bai on getting married early. Guan Yu said, unwilling to be outdone. How could wanting to see him make a fool of himself be such a beautiful thing? Don't. I was wrong, okay? Luo Fei quickly begged. He didn't want to marry that weak and sickly woman who would collapse from the wind. I'm afraid she would not want to marry you even if you wanted to marry her. First Elder said in realization. Alas, that bastard daughter of the Bai family was quite ambitious. She actually. What a pity. She was inviting trouble onto herself. Hopefully, she wouldn't do anything irrational. After all, the Bai family and the Guanyu family had business dealings. That's great, Luo Fei said happily after hearing what the First Elder said. He didn't have time to care for that kind of woman all day. Moreover, he hated women who looked weak and sickly since they were young but had better bodies than anyone and liked to pretend to be pitiful. At this moment, Wu Qian'er was glaring fiercely at Leng Ruoxue and the others on the stage. Leng Ruoxue also glared back at her, unwilling to be outdone. Neither side spoke. At this moment, under the arrangement of the host, Bai Fang and Luo Xing'er also walked onto the stage and waited for the final result to be out. Chapter 641, The First Elder Doesn't Allow Me to Give You the Champion. 1. After Bai Fang and Luo Xing'er went on stage, they did not stand with Wu Qian'er but maintained a distance from her. Miss Wu, it's wrong for you to quarrel with the audience. After a while of silence, Bai Fang couldn't help persuading her. Her voice was so soft that water seemed to seep out. Slap. A slap landed on Bai Fang's beautiful face. Who do you think you are? How dare you meddle in my business? Wu Qian'er roared furiously after raising her hand to slap Bai Fang. She was almost angered to death by Leng Ruoxue and the others just now, and she couldn't do anything to those people, so she could only vent all her anger on Bai Fang, and this was somewhat related to the tune Bai Fang played just now. I'm sorry. Half of Bai Fang's face immediately swelled up after being slapped, and she said with tears in her eyes. However, her gaze seemed to glance at the freak. Her aggrieved and pitiful appearance was enough to make most people pity her, but it absolutely didn't include Leng Ruoxue and the others. Hey, Big Sister Fang is just trying to persuade you out of goodwill. How can you be so barbaric? Luo Xing'er, who couldn't take it anymore, quickly protested. Good intentions? I'm afraid only you will think that she's being kind, idiot. Wu Qian'er said disdainfully. Luo Xing'er was so angry that she couldn't say anything. She might look very powerful, but she couldn't muster up any aura when facing an unreasonable person like Wu Qian'er. Leng Ruoxue, who had been sitting in the corner, looked at the farce on the stage and thought, are they being rebellious? However, that Bai Fang was quite intriguing. Unfortunately, she expressed the wrong feelings. Just as there was some silence on the stage and off stage, a stinky smell suddenly drifted out of the venue. At first, no one paid attention because the smell was very faint. However, as the stink became stronger, no one could ignore it anymore. Where did this smell come from? It stinks. An audience member covered his mouth and nose. Yes. It stinks. Wow, even our sewers smell 100 times better than this. The audience exploded. In the corner of the audience, Ningda also covered his mouth and nose and looked at Leng Ruoxue. Miss. Okay, Leng Ruoxue answered softly. Then she took out a jade bottle from her ring and motioned for Ningda to distribute it to everyone. She thought that it was fortunate that she had taken the antidote early. Otherwise, she would definitely be smoked to death. Schwer, this smell, Empty asked after taking the antidote, but he stopped mid-sentence. Ah! Wu Qian'er, the stink is coming from you. Before Leng Ruoxue could say anything, a scream sounded from the stage. The audience's attention was instantly attracted to the stage. If you have problems with this website, please continue reading your novel on our new website myboxnovel.com. Thanks. Don't spout nonsense. How can I stink? Wu Qian'er roared furiously. She could smell the stink too. She didn't know where it came from at all. However, Luo Xing'er actually wronged her. How ridiculous. I'm not spouting nonsense. It's really from you. Big Sister Fang, come and smell it. Luo Xing'er didn't suspect anything and got Bai Fang to smell it too. Sister Xing'er, how could Miss Wu have this smell on her body? Don't spout nonsense. Bai Fang forced a smile. In fact, she obviously knew that this smell came from Wu Qian'er, but so what if she knew? She couldn't say it in public. She was not Luo Xing'er after all. I knew you wronged me. Humph. Wu Qian'er glared at Luo Xing'er fiercely. She would not let her go. I didn't wrong you. Big Sister Fang, smell it and you'll know. It's definitely from her, Luo Xing'er said stubbornly. Sister Xing'er, speak no more. Bai Fang pulled Luo Xing'er to the side and advised her softly. No one knew what Wu Qian'er would do if she continued. Oh. Luo Xing'er answered softly, feeling incomparably depressed. Boo-hoo. It was also a mistake to be honest. In the VIP seats, Guan Yulong looked at the gloomy Wu Ming and asked gloatingly, Brother Wu, why does your daughter stink? Can you explain? How can my daughter stink? Don't listen to other people's nonsense, Wu Ming roared furiously. They had all heard what Luo Xing'er said just now, so he was in a fit of anger. However, that old man Guan Yulong actually came to provoke them. How can Xing'er spout nonsense? I watched that child grow up. She won't panic, Guan Yulong said with certainty. Yes, my daughter won't lie. She said it came from Miss Wu, so it must be, Luo Xian said very cooperatively. Humph. How dare she say that his daughter was spouting nonsense? She was really going too far. But Miss Bai said no. You said that your daughter doesn't know how to lie, so you're saying that Miss Bai lied? Wu Ming narrowed his eyes and tried to sow discord. That's what you said. I'm just saying that my daughter won't lie. It's not my business whether other people's daughters lie or not, Luo Xian said calmly and nonchalantly. Patriarch Bai, what do you think? Wu Ming raised his eyebrows and asked. Ah. The patriarch of the Bai family was so anxious that cold sweat rolled down his back, but he didn't know what to say. Boo-hoo. The Bai family was not the Luo family. They had the Guan Yu family backing them up. If he said anything wrong, it would offend both parties, so he had to pretend to be stupid. Brother Wu, don't make things difficult for them. How can they answer your question like this? Guan Yulong very kindly helped the Bai family's patriarch out of the predicament, receiving the Bai family's patriarch's incomparably grateful gaze. It's absolutely impossible for my daughter to stink, Wu Ming said with certainty. Patriarch Wu, imagination like this won't solve anything. Why don't each of our two families test it so that we can seek justice for Miss Wu? Guan Yulong suggested. In fact, he really hoped that the smell came from Wu Qian'er. However, Wu Ming would not admit to Luo Xing'er's words alone, so the best way was to convince that old man. Chapter 642, The First Elder doesn't allow me to give you the champion, too, okay. Wu Ming nodded in agreement. Then he whispered a few words to the butler behind him, and the butler turned and left the VIP seats. Guan Yulong also said a few words to the guard beside him. The guard turned and left after receiving the patriarch's order. Brother Wu, don't blame me for adding insult to injury. If that stink really comes from your daughter, then the champion of this flower appreciation festival will probably not be fated to your daughter. Guan Yulong said the ugly words first lest Wu Ming refused to admit it at that time. Of course. Wu Ming nodded without hesitation. He was too confident and believed that the smell absolutely didn't come from Qian'er, so he didn't object when Guan Yulong said this. Brother Wu is really sensible. Guan Yulong put on a high hat, not caring if his words were appropriate. After a while, the Wu family's butler and Guan Yulong's guard returned. Patriarch, this stink is indeed coming from Miss Wu, the guard reported honestly. And this? The Wu family's butler wants to bribe me to help them hide it, the guard added as he handed over another silver card. Oh, since it's from the Wu family, take it. It's a waste not to take it. Guan Yulong said with a smile. At this moment, he was rather happy. He could finally get rid of Wu Qian'er. It was really great. Patriarch Xie. The guard openly took the silver card under the murderous gaze of the Wu family's butler. The patriarchs sitting around were all well aware of the result of the verification. Therefore, even if the Wu family's butler didn't say anything, it wouldn't affect the final result. It seemed like Miss Wu was definitely not fated to be the champion. Brother Wu, looks like your daughter won't have the chance to become the young madam of our Guanyue family. Alas. What a pity. Guan Yulong said with a face full of pity. Guan Yulong, even if this smell comes from Qian'er, it won't affect the ownership of the champion. No one else is qualified to be the champion except for our Qian'er, Wu Ming said with certainty. Alright. Your daughter's talents are indeed the best among the 5 young ladies. We can't treat her favorably just because she has a strange smell. Therefore, for the sake of the Wu family, we can give her the championship. However, don't even think about the young madam of the Guanyu family. Our Guanyu family can't marry a young master's wife with a stinky smell. Guan Yulong thought for a while and then said very cautiously. In fact, he knew Wu Ming very well, so he was prepared that he would not keep his promise. However, the champion could be given to him, but the position of the young madam was absolutely not allowed. Do you want to go back on your word? Wu Ming stood up from his seat and roared angrily. You were the one who didn't keep your promise first. Now, you're blaming me. What kind of logic is this? Moreover, Brother Wu, how can you blame me for your daughter being disappointing? Think about it. Which family would want a woman with a strange smell as the future mistress of the family? Even if I agree, the elders of the family won't agree. Would you marry such a woman for your son? Guan Yulong said without anger or anger. Guan Yulong's words immediately left Wu Ming speechless, and the atmosphere fell silent again. Wu Qian'er and the others were standing in the middle of the stage, waiting for the final result. For some reason, Wu Qian'er felt a sense of unease enveloping her heart. Two people had come to her side to smell her just now. They might not have said anything, but it was precisely because of this that she felt even more uneasy. Just as Wu Qian'er was feeling uneasy, the host endured the stink and walked onto the stage. He didn't even open his mouth and directly announced the winner. Then he left as if he was fleeing for his life. Miss Wu, congratulations. Bai Feng actually walked to Wu Qian'er as if she didn't smell any stink. If you have problems with this website, please continue reading your novel on our new website MyBox Novel. Thanks. I told you long ago that the champion will definitely belong to me. Wu Qian'er rolled her eyes at Bai Feng, completely indifferent to her goodwill. Yes, Miss Wu is the best, Bai Feng said and slowly walked off the stage. Luo Xing'er had already escaped the stage with the host after announcing the results. You commoners, what are you looking at? Haven't you seen the champion? Wu Qian'er was so smug that she was about to fly into the sky after winning the championship. She turned her gaze to Leng Ruoxue and the others provocatively and said with contempt, "Ha! The entire stage belonged to her alone now." Leng Ruoxue, who was sitting in the corner, looked at Wu Qian'er as if she was watching a joke. Then she said lightly, "I only found out today that the flower viewing convention is actually charity." Damn it, what do you mean? Wu Qian'er widened her eyes in puzzlement. It means that you actually let a stinky woman be the champion. Ha! However, we won't look up to you, Feng De explained with a crazy laugh. Damn it, I won't let you go. Wu Qian'er was about to explode with anger after hearing Feng Da's words. Bring it on. You can sell or kill as you please, Feng De said nonchalantly. He hoped that the Wu family would not disappoint them. They had just advanced, and their hands were itchy. Just you wait. Wu Qian roared. She realized that her body was a little itchy after shouting. However, she didn't dare to scratch it in public and couldn't run down the stage directly because she was still waiting for the award. Ah! So itchy. Damn it, where did the person who gave the award go? She endured the itch and cursed in her heart. Yes. Well wait, Feng De said with a smile. They would wait to see a joke. After a while, the first elder in charge of the awards ceremony covered his nose very reluctantly and walked onto the stage. After standing in front of Wu Qian'er, he saw Wu Qian'er lying directly on the stage before he could hand the prize to her. Her body kept twisting and rubbing on the stage, and her hands didn't idle around. Ah! What was going on? First Elder was a little dumbfounded. This was the first time he had encountered such a situation after presenting so many awards. This was too strange. Chapter 643, The First Elder Doesn't Allow Me to Give You the Champion. 3. The First Elder stood foolishly in front of Wu Qian'er and watched her squirming on the stage like a green bug, hesitating whether to interrupt her because even a fool could see that Wu Qian'er's body was very itchy now. Ah! How long had it been since she showered? Everyone in the audience was stunned when they saw Wu Qian'er's actions. Then they began to discuss again. Wow, is the daughter of the Wu family crazy? We're in public, she's really too uneducated. She scratched my clothes. This Miss Wu's skin is so black. Oh, she has embarrassed the Wu family. That's right. First Elder wiped the cold sweat off his forehead and said helplessly, Miss Wu, have you scratched enough? No, I'm so itchy. Wu Qian'er said impatiently. Then she tore open her clothes and began scratching again with only a belly band. Ah! First Elder screamed and hurriedly turned his head. Boo-hoo. He didn't want to marry this woman. The Wu family mustn't rely on him. He was so scared. Ha! Leng Ruoxue couldn't help laughing after seeing the first elder's actions in the corner. She thought, this first elder of the Guan Yu family is quite interesting. Damn it, what's so funny? Wu Qian'er couldn't help roaring in anger when she heard Leng Ruoxue's laughter. However, her hands had no intention of stopping at all. What? Miss Wu, are you so overbearing that you even care about your smile? Leng Ruoxue asked lightly, a drop-dead gorgeous smile hanging on her beautiful face. However, Wu Qian'er ignored her at all and only cared about tickling. However, the first elder stole a resentful glance at her. Miss, will Wu Qian'er strip naked later? Feng De asked curiously. Big brother Feng, do you want to see her naked body? Lu Tao asked lightly, her calm and beautiful face unreadable. Ah. No, no. Feng De said hurriedly. At the same time, he couldn't help but break out in cold sweat. Boo-hoo. How could he have forgotten that Lu Tao was beside him? However, as soon as Feng De finished speaking, Wu Qian'er took off her skirt and began to scratch her thigh. Ah. There were no red fruits, but it was about enough. It seems like Big Brother Feng's wish is about to be realized, Lu Tao said a little sourly. She was quite displeased that the man she liked actually wanted to look at other women. If she was displeased, it meant that someone was going to be unlucky. Yes. Alas. Lu Tao, men are all like this. It's good to be calm, Leng Ruoxue said coldly. Her words were obviously adding oil to the fire, making Lu Tao even angrier. Miss. Feng De looked at his young miss aggrievedly with a long face. Boo-hoo. He didn't offend the young miss recently. Why did the young miss prank him like this? Swear, you can't wrong all the men just because Feng De wants to see them. I don't want to see other women, the freak hurriedly promised and stepped on Feng De while adding insult to injury. If you have problems with this website, please continue reading your novel on our new website myboxnovel.com. Thanks. Yes, swear, not all men are as lecherous as Feng De, empty echoed, the word wronged written on its beautiful face. Boo-hoo. You're too evil. Feng De felt like dying when he heard what they said. Boo-hoo. No one would stop him if anyone gave him a piece of tofu. Captain, take care. Don't take things too hard, Lin Yuan comforted him sympathetically. Ah. He didn't know what else to say except to console him. He wanted to add insult to injury, but he didn't dare to. Lin Yuan, give me a piece of tofu. Feng De said aggrievedly with tears in his eyes. Boo-hoo. He felt even more aggrieved seeing everyone's sympathetic gazes. Captain, I don't have tofu. I have an iron plate, do you want it? It's also from the Millennium Meteoric Iron. It's very sturdy. I guarantee that it won't break, Lin Yuan said. Thank you. Keep it for yourself. Feng De said gloomily. Boo-hoo. A group of baddies. Ha. Everyone couldn't help laughing seeing Feng De's expression. Suddenly, groans were heard by Leng Ruoxue and the others. They looked in the direction of the sound doubtfully. It turned out that the sound was coming from the stage. They saw Wu Qian'er on the stage scratching her itch non-stop and letting out comfortable groans. The first elder, who was closest to her, had an awkward face. She couldn't leave or stay. Miss, this voice is really too unpleasant. She can scratch it, but what's her name? Cui Zhu said with some disgust. Lin Yuan and the others didn't dare to follow her words, afraid that they would become public enemies again. Yes, Cui Zhu makes sense. First elder, can you shut Miss Wu's mouth? My subordinates say that her voice is unpleasant. Leng Ruoxue nodded and then shouted at the first elder on the stage loudly. I don't want to touch her. Come up and shut her up yourself if you want to. First elder's forehead was full of black lines as he said with displeasure. Boo-hoo. Why was this girl so bullying? Even if he was closer, there was no need to prank him like this. Ha! The audience roared with laughter. If you don't want to touch her as a man, then I'm even less interested as a woman, Len Ruoxue said very seriously. Then she turned to Cui Zhu and said, let's bear with it. All right then. Cui Zhu said reluctantly. In the VIP seats. At this moment, the atmosphere in the VIP seats was even lower. Everyone didn't dare to speak when they saw the black-faced Wu Ming, lest they became cannon fodder. Brother Wu, aren't you going to send people to get Miss Wu down? Your Wu family will lose all your face if you don't go up now. Guan Yulong could only take the lead, seeing that no one dared to speak. He was the organizer of the flower viewing convention after all. This matter would also have a certain impact on the flower viewing convention, but compared to the Wu family's scandal, that little effect could be ignored. He was so happy. Why haven't you sent anyone to bring Miss down yet? Wu Ming, whose face was black, roared furiously when he saw that the butler was still standing behind him. Chapter 644, The First Elder doesn't allow me to give you the champion. 4. Patriarch, I sent someone, but Miss refused to come down no matter what, and our subordinates didn't dare to touch her, the butler hurriedly explained. Boo-hoo. Who would dare to touch Miss at this time? With the patriarch's temper, whoever touched her would really die. It seems like Brother Wu has to take Miss Wu in person. Alas. Your daughter is really stubborn. Guan Yulong suggested, his handsome face full of sympathy. Humph. You don't have to tell me. Wu Ming didn't appreciate it at all. He was only angry just now. He didn't expect none of these subordinates to succeed. It was really infuriating. Brother Wu. Even if our families have a good relationship, I'm afraid I can't award the champion to your daughter in this state. I hope you can understand. Guan Yulong said with a troubled face after Wu Ming stood up. Humph. Give it to whoever you want. Our Wu family doesn't care at all. Wu Ming roared with a fierce gaze and then left the VIP seats angrily. After Wu Ming left the VIP seats, he went straight to the stage and knocked out the happily scratching Wu Qianer. Then he looked at Len Ruoxue meaningfully and left the flower appreciation convention with Wu Qianer. Ha, now that the champion's seat is empty, all the patriarchs, tell us, who is qualified to obtain this champion. Let's choose one from the other 4 young ladies to make up for it. Guan Yulong asked very democratically after Wu Ming left, his searchlight-like eyes gently scanning the patriarchs present. Patriarch Guan Yu, this is the job of the judges. Why are you asking us? A patriarch who was slightly closer to Guan Yulong deliberately asked. Didn't the judges evaluate Wu Qianer? But you also know her current situation. If she continues to be the champion and news spreads, it won't look good on us. Guan Yulong explained. Patriarch Guan Yu, you are the organizer of the flower viewing convention. You decide this matter. I have no objections, another patriarch said. In fact, no one was stupid. They knew very well that if Wu Ming knew that they were the ones who selected the champion to replace his daughter, he would definitely vent his anger on them. Therefore, they were unwilling to take the lead. How can that do? It's precisely because I'm the organizer that I have to listen to your opinions. Hurry up and tell me, don't waste time, Guan Yulong said with a smile. In that case, let's vote and decide. Luo Xian suggested. In fact, he knew what Guan Yulong meant. He was forcing everyone to make a choice. Yes, yes. A good vote and fair. Guan Yulong agreed very much. Then he ordered someone to bring paper and pen and send them to the patriarchs present. Ha, it's an anonymous vote. Guan Yulong added. In fact, even if he didn't say it, those patriarchs didn't intend to write their names. After a while, the results of the voting were out. Bai Fong had the highest number of votes among the 4 young ladies, and the other 3 each had 1 vote. Ha, looks like Miss Bai is what everyone wants. Guan Yulong said happily. Hee hee, Lord Bai, congratulations. The patriarchs present also congratulated the patriarch of the Bai family. Hee, thank you for thinking highly of me, your niece, the patriarch of the Bai family said with a forced smile. In fact, he was about to cry in his heart. Boo-hoo. It was impossible for him to stay out of this now. Wu Ming would definitely not let him go. Send this result to the first elder. Guan Yulong ordered the guard beside him. Yes, the guard replied and quickly left the VIP seats. In the corner of the audience. If you have problems with this website, please continue reading your novel on our new website MyBox Novel. Thanks. Swear, looks like the Wu family's patriarch has his eyes on you, Empty teased with a light smile. Alas. Wu Ming's glance before he left was obviously up to no good. Alas. There's nothing we can do. How can we fight against those families without a backer? Leng Ruoxua shrugged her shoulders and said helplessly. Why don't we find a backer too? Empty suggested with a smile. Do you think it's so easy to find a backer? Leng Ruoxua glanced at Empty and said lightly. Oh, that's true. Empty was depressed. Ningda, who was sitting beside them, broke out in cold sweat as he listened to their conversation. You can't bully me like this. However, he looked at Fengde and the others, who were calm and composed, and realized that his tolerance was a little poor. Boo-hoo. He had to train. If Miss said they were a disadvantaged group, then they must be. At the same time, the first elder on the stage also received the patriarch's order. He cleared his throat and explained to the audience loudly, There was an accident just now, so I'll announce the champion of the next flower viewing convention again. The audience looked at each other and whispered among themselves. Was the champion going to be changed? However, with such a scandal just now, the daughter of the Wu family was indeed not suitable to be the champion anymore, so they quickly calmed down. The champion of this year's flower viewing convention is Bai Feng, first elder hurriedly announced when he saw the discussions quieten down to prevent any unexpected mishaps. Boo-hoo. Don't make any mistakes. After speaking, he was relieved to see that the audience did not have much reaction. Wow, big sister Feng, it's you. That's great. I told you long ago that only you are the champion in my heart, Luo Xing'er said to Bai Feng happily backstage after hearing what the first elder said. Sister Xing'er, thank you. However, it's not good for us to be so happy after something like this happened to Miss Wu. Alas. In fact, I pity her, Bai Feng said worriedly. Her incomparably beautiful face was full of difficulties and sympathy, but she couldn't help cursing in her heart. Who cared about this lousy champion? She was just a substitute. In fact, what she wanted the most was. I know big sister Feng is the kindest, but some people are not worthy of sympathy, Luo Xing'er said. Little sister Xing'er, Bai Feng seemed to want to defend Wu Qian'er, but she opened her mouth and didn't say anything. Big sister Feng, quickly go on stage. The first elder is about to give you the award, Luo Xing'er urged. Sometimes, she really didn't like Bai Feng's kindness. It was because Bai Feng was too kind that she was always bullied. Chapter 645, The First Elder Doesn't Allow Me to Give You the Champion, 5, okay. Bai Feng nodded and then walked onto the stage reluctantly. Miss Bai, congratulations, the first elder said directly after seeing Bai Feng come up. The stink would not disappear for a while even though Wu Qian'er had already left. Therefore, what he wanted to do the most now was to distribute the prizes quickly. Otherwise, he would have to sacrifice himself on this stage. First elder, Bai Feng hesitated. Her beautiful eyes secretly glanced at the freak, and then at Leng Ruoxua, hesitating. Miss Bai, this is your reward for being the champion. Take good care of it. First elder handed Bai Feng a ring and reminded her. First elder, I can't accept this champion. Bai Feng didn't take the ring and summoned her courage. At the same time, she felt a little uneasy, not knowing if the first elder would see through her thoughts. What did you say? First elder frowned and asked with slight displeasure. I can't accept this champion. I'm not qualified, Bai Fong said very modestly, her beautiful face full of determination. If you're not qualified, then who is? Your score is the highest among the 4 young ladies. Moreover, this was decided by the collective vote of the patriarchs. This is what everyone wants. Don't decline anymore, first elder explained. He really didn't like Bai Fong acting in this way. In his opinion, excessive modesty was hypocritical. First elder, in terms of talent, I can't compare to Miss Wu. In terms of beauty, I can't compare to that miss, so I'm really not qualified to obtain this champion. I'm willing to give the champion to that Mississippi. Bai Fong turned her gaze to Leng Ruoxue. The first elder's head hurt after hearing Bai Fang's self-righteous words. His impression of Bai Fong was originally quite ordinary, but now it had fallen to rock bottom in a straight line. He secretly looked at Leng Ruoxue, who had a gorgeous smile on her face, and couldn't help but grumble in his heart. Who do you think you are? Do you think I need you to give way? The audience and the patriarchs in the VIP seats had a headache after hearing what Bai Fong said and sighed in unison. Alas! What was this? However, Bai Fong, who was on the stage, didn't realize that her suggestion would actually backfire. On the contrary, she was a little smug. Ha! Everyone would know how magnanimous she was now. Moreover, she believed that the woman who was not qualified to participate in the flower appreciation meeting would definitely be grateful to her. In fact, it was not Bai Fang's fault for thinking this way because she had always thought that only the daughters of the major families were qualified to participate in the flower banquet. There was a rule that the participants had to be the daughters of the various families and could be from the direct line of descent, but it was actually not the case. Otherwise, what would happen to those families without daughters who could participate? Therefore, it was enough as long as there were families who admitted that the daughters participating in the flower banquet were from their families. This had long been an open secret among the families, and no family would fall out because of such deceit. Wow, miss, that lady is so nice. She actually wants to give you the championship, Lu Tao said very innocently, her beautiful face full of joy. Yes, you are indeed very kind, Leng Ruoxue said with a spurious smile and looked at Bai Fong as if she was watching a joke. I really think Miss is better than me, so please believe in my sincerity. I'm not joking, Bai Fong said very sincerely. Isn't it obvious? There's no need to say it from your mouth. Moreover, whether you're joking or not has nothing to do with me, so save it. Leng Ruoxue said without gratitude. Miss, you misunderstood me. I really think this honor should belong to you. Bai Fong looked at the freak with tears in her beautiful eyes and said aggrievedly, as if she had been wronged. I don't know how to sing, dance, or play the piano. I'm useless except for my face. So, you don't have to have any ideas about me, Leng Ruoxue declined bluntly. She hated this hypocritical woman to death. However, she neither hit nor scolded her. She couldn't rush up and beat her up even though she really wanted to. Miss Bai, do you think our flower viewing convention is owned by your family? How can you give up the championship just because you want to? First elder couldn't take it anymore. 2 drops of cold sweat hung on his forehead as he said very angrily. This Bai Fang's actions now made him feel like vomiting because he was very close to Bai Fong, so he saw all her thoughts. I'm sorry, First elder. Bai Fong was very embarrassed. However, when her gaze turned to Leng Ruoxue again, it was full of guilt. Miss, I'm really sorry. First elder didn't allow me to give you this championship. In fact, I really think you are more qualified than me. If you have problems with this website, please continue reading your novel on our new website myboxnovel.com. Thanks. Bai Fang's words angered the first elder so much that he almost vomited blood. The first elder, who had always thought of himself as very gentlemanly, kept cursing in his heart. Damn it! Did I not allow you to give up the championship? I have to take it even if you want to. He really didn't know what this woman's head was made of. Why did she think so highly of herself? She looked like a pretty smart girl, but she was actually stupid. Could it be that this was the legendary relationship that would lower one's intelligence? Ah. To be precise, it should be single love. Apart from the first elder, the audience and Leng Ruoxue and the others were at a loss for words after hearing what Bai Fang said. In the VIP seats, Guan Yulong looked at the farce on the stage, glanced at the patriarch of the Bai family indifferently, and said mockingly, "Miss Bai is really kind-hearted. Yes, this child has been kind since he was young. He doesn't even dare to step on an ant to death." The patriarch of the Bai family didn't hear the mockery in Guan Yulong's words and said happily instead because he couldn't wait for Bai Fang to take the initiative to give up the championship. This way, the Wu family wouldn't blame them. Guan Yulong tactfully shut his mouth and stopped talking after hearing what the patriarch of the Bai family said. The other patriarchs naturally wouldn't ask for trouble. Alas! What else could they say since she thought that her niece was being noble and virtuous? Chapter 646, Rumors Arise, 1, in the corner of the audience. Leng Ruoxue looked at the guilty Bai Fang on the stage speechlessly. Ah! She really didn't want to bother with this top-grade person. However, just because she didn't want to bother with him didn't mean that he wouldn't take the initiative to come closer to her. "Miss, I'm so sorry." Bai Fang couldn't help saying guiltily when she saw that Leng Ruoxue didn't react. "Stop. Shut up. You don't have to be sorry," Leng Ruoxue said, unable to bear it anymore. She hated Bai Fang even more in her heart. To be honest, it would be fine if Wu Qian'er was an unruly and mature woman. However, people would think that she was bullying such a weak and pitiful woman no matter how she dealt with her. She might not care about what others thought, but such a woman was really difficult to deal with. The weaker a woman looked, the more deceitful she would be. Bai Fang happened to be such a woman, so this couldn't help giving her a headache. "Miss," Bai Fang's beautiful eyes welled up with tears as she looked at Leng Ruoxue hesitantly, her beautiful face full of grievance. "Miss Bai, I've seen too many women, but this is the first time I've seen someone as self-righteous as you." "Hee, you've broadened my horizons," Fengde said with a smile. "Humph. He really wanted to beat this woman up if they weren't in public. Who did she think she was? That's right. This Miss Bai is really the best. She obviously doesn't want to be the champion, but she still makes it sound so dignified. Do you think everyone else is stupid?" Lin Yuan exposed Bai Fang's thoughts unceremoniously and said mockingly. "I'm not. I mean it." "You misunderstood me," Bai Fang explained. Two streams of tears rolled down her cheeks, making her look even more pitiful. "What does it have to do with us if you really don't mean it? Just be your champion. Our Miss isn't a trash acquisition station." "Humph. If Miss wants your lousy champion, it won't be your turn," Ningde said with some displeasure. He thought he was knowledgeable and had seen countless people, but this was the first time he had seen such a top-grade woman. Ah. In Feng Da's words, it was an eye-opener today. Bai Fang cried even harder after hearing Ning De's words. "Hey, you guys are too much. Big Sister Fang is just being nice. It's fine if you don't appreciate it, but why are you bullying her like this?" Luo Xing'er, who was backstage, hurriedly jumped on the stage to complain when she saw her beloved Big Sister Fang being bullied. "Miss Luo, do you think we bullied her?" Leng Ruoxue raised her eyes and said coldly. "Of course. You made Big Sister Fang cry. Do you still dare to deny it?" Luo Xing'er said self-righteously. "I don't care if Miss Luo thinks we bullied your Big Sister Fang. However, what I want to say is that everyone here is not blind. Moreover, if you really like her so much, then look after your Big Sister Fang. Otherwise, bear the consequences yourself." Leng Ruoxue said very coldly. Then she stood up and said to the freak and the others, let's go. Okay. The freak and the others stood up and everyone left the venue of the flower viewing convention in a grandiose manner. Leng Ruoxue didn't say a word on the way back to the Alchemist Association. Feng De and the others thought that their young miss was angry, so they all followed her cautiously and obediently. Lu Tao couldn't help asking when they returned to the temporary yard, Miss, that Bai Fang is really too annoying. Are we going to let her go just like that? They just want to give me their championship. They didn't hit me or scold me. What can you do? Do you really want others to say that we're bullying others? Leng Ruoxue asked in return. She didn't mind her subordinates doing something if they had a good way. However, if they didn't, then they should stay obediently. But I'm really angry, Lu Tao said gloomily. The one being bullied was obviously her young miss. Lu Tao, let me tell you. You have to be patient if you want to deal with that kind of woman. You can't be impatient, Leng Ruoxue said understandingly. In fact, weak and scheming women had always been as difficult to deal with as Wu Qian'er, so patience was the most important. Oh, Lu Tao answered gloomily, still feeling uncomfortable. Hee, Lu Tao, don't worry. That woman will definitely provoke us again. Feng De came to Lu Tao's side and comforted her. If you have problems with this website, please continue reading your novel on our new website MyBox Novel. Thanks. Yes, damn it, I almost forgot about you. Lu Tao grabbed Feng Da's ear and transformed into a female lion as she roared furiously. Since she couldn't teach that Bai Fang a lesson, she would teach her man a lesson first. Humph. How dare he look at another woman's body? She really had to beat him up. Ah. Lu Tao, I was wrong. Let me go. Feng De begged repeatedly. It would be very embarrassing to be treated like this by his woman, but it was okay to lose some face as long as Lu Tao could be happy. There were no outsiders here anyway. Wrong? What did you do wrong? Lu Tao narrowed her eyes and asked in puzzlement. Boo-hoo. I shouldn't be so curious. Spare me. Don't spank me, Feng De pleaded. Don't worry, I won't spank you. Miss, do we still have instant noodles? Lu Tao asked with a naughty smile. Yes, as many as you want. Leng Ruoxue said with a light smile. Boo-hoo. Miss, why aren't we done yet? Feng De said gloomily. Boo-hoo. He didn't want to kneel on instant noodles. How can we finish it since it's convenient? Qing Ju makes drops whenever he has nothing to do, so don't worry. I'll provide as much as you want, Leng Ruoxue said with a smile. Miss, can we not? Feng De discussed. No. Lu Tao roared. Hee, this is between the two of you. You decide. I'm only in charge of supplying goods, Leng Ruoxue said very irresponsibly. Miss, it's getting late. I'm going back first. At this moment, Ning De couldn't help but say. Oh, the maidservant beside Miss was so violent. Poor Feng De. Yes. Leng Ruoxue nodded. Ning De looked at Feng De sympathetically and then left the yard without looking back. Chapter 647, Rumors Rising, 2, Old Ning, don't go. What should I do if you leave? Feng De couldn't help crying when he saw Ning De leave. Boo-hoo. Ning De left, so his instant noodles didn't run away. Stop howling. I'm not dead yet. A roar sounded from outside the yard. Ha! Leng Ruoxue and the others couldn't help but laugh after hearing this. It's getting late. Let's rest early too. Leng Ruoxue brought them directly into the bracelet. After entering the space, Lu Tao grabbed Feng Da's ear and returned to the room. Tao Tao. Tao Tao, woo. I was wrong. Len Ruoxue and the others stood outside the purple bamboo hut and couldn't help smiling when they heard Feng Da's pleading voice coming from his room. Alas! Poor Feng Da, Empty said sympathetically. Miss said that as a man, you have to be obedient. Otherwise, the family law will serve you, Cui Zhu explained. Ah! Len Ruoxue couldn't help but have 2 drops of cold sweat drip down her forehead when she heard Cui Zhu's words. Did she say such a thing? Why didn't she remember? Schwer, am very obedient. The freak hurriedly expressed his opinion because he believed that if he was not obedient, then the family laws he would receive would definitely be more powerful than Feng Das. Boo-hoo. Schwer was a tiger. Okay. Len Ruoxue nodded and then caressed the freak's head like she was petting a puppy. Big sister, baby wants to sleep again. Suddenly, baby jumped into Len Ruoxue's arms, its beautiful blue eyes looking at her reluctantly. Okay. Len Ruoxue gently caressed baby's soft fur and nodded. She understood what baby meant by sleep, but she was more curious about what would happen when baby woke up again. Big sister, Ball wants to sleep too. The round ball also flew over and joined in the fun. Ah! You want to sleep too? Len Ruoxue hugged Qiuqiu and said in surprise. Why did these 2 little things want to sleep? Okay. Qiuqiu nestled in Len Ruoxue's arms and nodded vigorously. Then sleep well. I'll put you in the cultivation room later, Len Ruoxue said. Okay. Baby and Ball nodded and then fell asleep in Len Ruoxue's arms. Ah! Miss, don't they sleep often? Cui Zhu asked in puzzlement. We should sleep for a longer time this time, Len Ruoxue explained. Then she walked into the purple bamboo hut with the 2 little beasts and placed them on the bed in the cultivation room. If you have problems with this website, please continue reading your novel on our new website myboxnovel.com. Thanks. Schwer, don't worry. It's just a promotion. The freak comforted Len Ruoxue seeing her worried appearance. I know. Len Ruoxue nodded. Then she looked at the 2 little beasts by the bed for a while before pulling the freak out of the cultivation room. The next day. Len Ruoxue and the freak saw Empty drinking tea on a stone chair in front of the purple bamboo house as soon as they left. Drinking tea so early in the morning? Len Ruoxue said helplessly. The tea hadn't left her hand since Empty had paid for the tea. Hee, I'm bored. Empty said with a chuckle. Are you still bored? Are Lin Yuan and the others not up yet? Len Ruoxue asked curiously. They woke up earlier than her when they were not in seclusion. It was really abnormal that they were not awake yet today. Mommy, Uncle Wu gave them special training yesterday, hee. Little Fire jumped into Len Ruoxue's arms from nowhere and said coquettishly. Special training? Len Ruoxue was stunned. Ah. No wonder she hadn't woken up yet. One had to know that special training without was very tiring. Yes. They are too weak. I gave them special training and asked them to learn those advanced mystic techniques in 3 days, Empty explained. In 3 days. Empty, isn't your request a little too high? The freak couldn't help saying. Is it high? They have been here for a long time compared to you, Empty said nonchalantly. He wanted to pressure those little fellows. Otherwise, why would their strength increase rapidly? Yes, it's good to let them try, Len Ruoxue agreed. Big sister, Ningda is here, and he brought a few uninvited guests. Qing Ju appeared in front of Len Ruoxue and the others and reminded them. An uninvited guest? Then let's go take a look. Len Ruoxue said with interest. Okay, the freak and Empty agreed. Len Ruoxue brought the 2 of them out of the bracelet with a thought. However, she realized that she had also brought Horror out after exiting. Mommy, let me play outside for a while. I want run around. Little Fire couldn't help pleading with tears in its eyes knowing that Len Ruoxue wanted to send it back. Alas. All right then. Leng Ruoxu's heart softened. The three of them sat down on a stone bench in the yard. Soon, there was a knock on the door. Come in. The door isn't locked, Leng Ruoxue sent a voice transmission to Ningda. Well, she had already seen who the uninvited guest was. Miss Leng, young Master Guan Yu and young Master Luo are here to visit you, Ningda said with a face full of unwillingness. Boo-hoo. He really didn't want to bring these people here if possible. Mainly because he didn't want to bring that self-righteous Bai Fong. However, Guan Yushi said that she came on his father's orders. He couldn't turn Guan Yushi away either. However, he was a little resentful that they brought that woman along. Oh, please take a seat, young masters. Leng Ruoxue said politely. There was only a stone bench in front of them even though she said please take a seat. Therefore, Guan Yushi and Luo Fei looked at each other and then Guan Yueshi sat down. May I know what's the matter, young masters? Leng Ruoxue asked lightly, her beautiful face full of curiosity. Miss Leng, I'm here on behalf of my father, Guan Yueshi explained. Oh, what about young Master Luo? Is he also representing my father? Leng Ruoxue raised her eyebrows slightly and said indifferently. No, I'm here to see Miss Leng, Luo Fei said honestly. He was very curious about Leng Ruoxue, so he followed after knowing that Guan Yushi was coming to visit. Since you're here, don't stand on ceremony. Help yourself. Leng Ruoxue said with a light smile. Chapter 648, Rumors Arise, 3, Okay, I won't stand on ceremony then. Luo Fei mimicked Ningda and found a random place to sit down. Miss Leng, is this how you treat your guests? Luo Xing'er said with some dissatisfaction when she saw her brother actually sitting on the stone steps. Yes, I'm the most hospitable person. I've never treated guests as outsiders. However, if guests treat themselves as guests, then it's none of my business. Leng Ruoxue said without anger. Xing'er, come here and sit down, Luo Fei called out. He knew that his sister was feeling unfair for him, but he didn't think there was anything wrong with sitting on the ground. Big brother, you are the young master of our Luo family. How can you sit on the ground? Luo Xing'er said indignantly. Xing'er, don't make things difficult for big brother Luo. Miss Leng definitely didn't do it on purpose, Bai Fong, who had been silent, comforted. However, not only did her words not have the effect of comforting, they were like oil on fire, making Luo Xing'er even angrier. Big sister Fong, you're too kind. You always think too highly of others, Luo Xing'er said angrily. Miss Luo, are you dissatisfied with me? Leng Ruoxue asked the advisor while glancing at Luo Fei. Leng Ruoxue interrupted Luo Xing'er. You should be happy that I'm willing to receive you. Even Lan Lai and Leng Wudi have to sit underground, let alone the Luo family's young master, Leng Ruoxue said lightly. Who are you lying to? How can you know Lan Lai and Leng Wudi? Just say that you know Sun Teng, Luo Xing'er said disdainfully. Humph. Even she didn't have the chance to know the famous three young masters. How could this woman know them? I really do, Leng Ruoxue said with a smile. Miss Leng, you can't be so vain. No one will laugh at you if you don't know them. Really, we won't look down on you, Bai Fong said, thinking that she was very understanding. She had already asked her uncle yesterday and knew that this woman had no background at all, so her confidence multiplied. Should I be moved to tears by Miss Bei's words? Leng Ruoxue rolled her eyes and asked speechlessly. There's no need to be grateful. I just hope to be friends with Miss Leng, Bai Fong said very generously, impressed with her thoughts. Hee, as long as she became friends with this woman, someone would definitely be able to see her beauty. She couldn't help thinking happily. Miss Bai is of noble status, I can't match up to you. Forget about being friends. Leng Ruoxue refused tactfully. However, she knew that with Bai Fang's self-righteousness and thick skin, she definitely wouldn't understand. Miss Leng, one should be confident. Don't worry, I won't look down on you because you don't have any status or position, Bai Fong said very sincerely. Miss Bai, didn't you say you were coming to apologize to Miss Leng? Guan Yushi couldn't help but interrupt. Bai Fang's words made him a little uncomfortable. Damn! He wanted to curse. He had seen many women, but this was the first time he had seen someone as shameless as Bai Fong. Yes, Miss Leng. I'm really sorry about yesterday. I might have been kind, but I didn't expect to hurt your self-esteem. I'm really sorry, Bai Fong said guiltily. Bai Fang's words made everyone except Luo Xing'er fall silent. If you have problems with this website, please continue reading your novel on our new website MyBox Novel. Thanks. Hey, don't be ungrateful. Big Sister Fong specially came to apologize to you. Don't be so ungrateful. Luo Xing'er couldn't help criticizing Leng Ruoxue when she saw that she didn't react for a long time. Ningde, send the guests away. Leng Ruoxue was so angry that she was amused. She didn't want to waste time talking to them and directly ordered them to leave. Alas! Please leave. Ningde sighed and then stood up helplessly. Miss Leng, we are guests. How can you treat guests like this? Who will dare to visit you in the future if news of this spreads? Bai Fong reminded. I don't need anyone to visit me, okay? Leng Ruoxue's beautiful face was full of displeasure. Miss Leng, aren't we friends? You can't treat your friends like this. People will think you're heartless, Bai Fong said anxiously. She couldn't be driven out like this. She hadn't even spoken to the person she liked, so how could she be willing to go like that? I don't care about what others think. Please leave this place immediately, Leng Ruoxue said impatiently. She would definitely beat someone up if she let this woman stay any longer. However, this woman kept speaking gently. If she really hit her, there would probably be no end of trouble, and she would have to tangle with her endlessly. Therefore, the best way was to ignore her. Big Sister Fong, this woman is too barbaric. She won't accept your goodwill at all. Let's leave quickly and not court a rebuff, Luo Xing'er advised. You're not allowed to scold my mother. You're a bad person. I want to bite you. Huer, who had been lying in Leng Ruoxue's arms for a long time, finally couldn't take it anymore. Ah! In an instant, everyone only saw a fiery red light flash quickly, and then Bai Fong let out an ear-piercing scream. By the time everyone saw what was going on, little fire had already laid back in Leng Ruoxue's arms and flashed its incomparably sharp little claws in a show of force. Blood was flowing down Bai Fang's face, and she was rolling on the ground in pain. Big Sister Fong. Luo Xing'er squatted on the ground in fright and looked at Bai Fong worriedly. Xing'er, let's go. Luo Fei picked up Bai Fong who was on the ground reluctantly. Big brother, we can't leave like this. That cat scratched Big Sister Fong. We have to seek an explanation for Big Sister Fong, Luo Xing'er said guiltily. She would never allow Big Sister Fong to suffer like this. Xing'er, stop messing around. Let's leave this place, Luo Fei couldn't bear it anymore. How could you blame me? If you hadn't been provoking me, why would that kitten be angry? Chapter 649, Rumors Arise, 4, Big Brother. Why are you so useless? If you don't want to stand up for Big Sister Fong, I'll do it. Luo Xing'er said furiously. In fact, she was more or less guilty that Bai Fong would be injured. What she didn't expect was that didn't the cat say that it wanted to bite her? Why did its target change to Bai Fong? Up to you. If you insist, I'll tell father when we get back and pretend that I never gave birth to you, Luo Fei warned. He was angry with his sister's idiot. He left the yard with Bai Fong, who had fainted from the pain. Big brother. Luo Xing'er didn't expect her brother to really leave just like that. She couldn't help stomping her feet in anger. Xinger, let's go. Guan Yu, she said helplessly. Alas. It seemed like they couldn't negotiate today. Big brother Guan Yu, don't you care about big sister Fang anymore? Luo Xinger asked in disbelief. She didn't understand why her brother and big brother Guan Yu had such a reaction. Shouldn't they seek an explanation for big sister Fang's injuries? She doesn't belong to me. Why should I care about her? Guan Yu, she asked in puzzlement. In fact, it was good enough that he didn't blame that stupid woman. Why should he care about her? Big brother Guan Yu. Luo Xinger didn't know what to say. It shouldn't be like this. Xinger, bear the consequences if you don't leave. Guan Yu, she left the yard after speaking. Big sister Fang is injured. The Bai family won't let you go. Just you wait, Luo Xinger threatened indignantly before leaving angrily. After seeing everyone, he brought leave. Ningde looked at Leng Ruoxua anxiously and said, Miss, I'm sorry. I didn't expect this to happen either. This isn't your fault. Don't take it to heart, Leng Ruoxua said nonchalantly. She could ignore Luo Xinger's threat before she left, so why would she blame Ningde? Mommy, I'm sorry for causing you trouble, Little Fire said shyly. However, it didn't feel guilty at all. Humph. It would still scratch that annoying woman if there was a next time. Silly, what trouble is this? Leng Ruoxua comforted. She didn't even care about the Guan Yu family, let alone the mere Bai family. Haha, Little Fire actually knows how to scratch people too, Empty teased with a light smile. Ah. Schwer's beasts were indeed extraordinary. Even plant attribute beasts knew how to scratch people. I'm also learning from Big Brother Darling and the others. I finally have the chance to scratch you in person today, Little Fire said with a naughty smile. Your little claws are indeed sharp, the freak praised as he took Little Fire from Leng Ruoxua's arms and pinched its little claws. Thank you, Daddy. I grind it often, Little Fire said proudly. Where did you grind it? Leng Ruoxua asked curiously. Huer's entire body was full of treasures. Alas. What a waste. He took away the powder I ground away with the things Big Brother Qing Ju found for me, Huer explained. Oh, it's okay. It didn't go to waste. Leng Ruoxua was relieved. Miss, what do you intend to do with Bai Fang? Ningde hesitated but still asked. If you have problems with this website, please continue reading your novel on our new website MyBox Novel. Thanks. What do you mean? Leng Ruoxua was puzzled. What else could she do? I'm talking about the injury on her face, Ningde explained. Bai Fang was injured, and it was on her face. The Bai family would probably ask for compensation, and with his understanding of Leng Ruoxua, Miss would definitely not care. She has the 100 flowers pill. Those injuries are nothing, Leng Ruoxua comforted. She didn't take Bai Fang's injuries seriously at all. Ah. That's true, Ningde said. He had forgotten about the 100 flower pill. One had to know that the effects of the 100 flower pill were to nourish one's appearance and beauty. Ningde, go busy yourself. Don't disturb us if there's nothing important. Leng Ruoxua ordered Ningde to leave. After Ningde left, she returned to the bracelet with the freak. Have a chat. I'm going to concoct some pills. Leng Ruoxua threw the freak and empty in front of the purple bamboo hut. After speaking, she walked directly into the alchemy room of the purple bamboo hut. What pill does Schwer want to concoct again? Empty sat down in a chair and asked curiously. I don't know. The freak was also a little strange. They didn't seem to lack pills now. With Zheng En and the little old man around, there was no way they could use up all the pills. Do you think Schwer wants to prank me again? Empty said expectantly. Want you know when she comes out? The freak said helplessly. Just like that, the two of them sat in front of the purple bamboo hut, chatting and waiting. In the main mansion of the Guan Yu family. After returning to the family, Guan Yushi didn't return to her room but went directly to Guan Yulong's study. Young master. The guard outside the study bowed very respectfully when he saw Guan Yushi. Yes, I want to see father. Guan Yushi nodded slightly. Please wait a moment, the guard said and then walked into the study to report. A moment later, the guard emerged. Young master, the patriarch invites you in. Guan Yueshi nodded and pushed the door open to enter. Sierra, why are you back so soon? Guan Yulong, who was sitting on the main seat, asked in puzzlement. He had asked Sierra to bond with Leng Ruoxue and the others. Why were they back so quickly? Ah. There was an accident. Hello, first elder and fifth elder, Guan Yushi said speechlessly and then bowed very politely to the two elders. What happened? First elder asked anxiously. Boo-hoo. They couldn't afford to offend that little ancestor. Alas. Guan Yushi sighed and then told them what had happened. Young master, why did you bring that woman? That woman is a big trouble, first elder said angrily. Alas. Young master was really too muddle-headed. I don't want to either, but she's crying on the streets, begging and kneeling. If I don't bring her, the people on the streets will think I did something to her. Guan Yushi said gloomily. Chapter 650, Rumors Rising, 5, First Elder. At this point, it's useless to blame the young master. Let's think about what to do. In short, we have to coax that little ancestor. Fifth Elder said with a slight headache. Alas. How did the Bai family raise such a top-grade daughter? And the Luo family too. Patriarch Luo and the young master seemed to be quite smart. Why was his daughter so stupid? She was still counting money for others even though she was being used. How? I can't even take that Bai Fong anymore, First Elder said speechlessly. Alas. It was fine if she pretended to be a good person on the stage. After all, they were in public. Leng Ruoxue couldn't kill her in public even if she was angry. However, she had provoked her into coming to their house now. She was really too much. Patriarch Luo requests an audience. The guards outside the door suddenly reported while they were discussing a solution. Let him in. Guan Yulong said with a displeased face. Yes, the guard replied and left. Soon, Luo Xian pushed the door open and entered. Hello, Brother Guan Yu, the first elder, and the fifth elder. Luo Xian greeted them after entering the study. However, Guan Yulong and the others all had stern faces and ignored him. Hee, what's wrong with you? I didn't provoke you. Luo Xian smiled awkwardly and said helplessly. What are you doing here? I didn't invite you today, Guan Yulong said irritably. I missed you. That's why I came, Luo Xian explained with a smile. Cut it out. You're here for your precious daughter, right? Let me tell you, I have no choice. Do as you deem fit. Guan Yulong said bluntly. Boo-hoo. Their Guan Yu family couldn't even protect themselves. How could he have the leisure to care about others? Brother Guan Yu, you watched Xing'er grow up. She might be a little willful, but she definitely doesn't have any bad intentions, Luo Xian said amiably. Alas. Xing'er had poor taste, but he knew very well that Leng Ruoxue's identity was absolutely not simple since she could stay in the Alchemist Association. Do you know what your precious daughter did? Guan Yulong couldn't help asking. Xing'er didn't do anything. Didn't she just have a verbal conflict with that Miss Leng? This isn't a big deal. Moreover, didn't Miss Leng's cat scratch White Fang? Luo Xian said. He had specially come to Guan Yulong to help make up for the small conflict between Xing'er and Leng Ruoxue. This was enough to prove his importance to Leng Ruoxue, so he felt that Miss Leng shouldn't blame Xing'er because of this. Didn't Luo Fei tell you anything? Guan Yulong said in disbelief. If he were to be scolded by others, he would definitely chop that person into pieces because this was absolutely a provocation. He went to see Bai Fong off and hasn't returned yet. I came to find you immediately after hearing what Xinger said. Brother Guan Yu, I know that Miss Ling's identity is not simple. Can you help me introduce her? I don't want to have an unhappy relationship with her over such a small matter, Luo Xian said with a fawning look. He had been friends with Guan Yulong for many years, so he believed that Guan Yulong would definitely help with such a small matter. If you're sincere, you should go directly to the Alchemist Association and not come to beg me, Guan Yulong said helplessly. Alas. In fact, he didn't have much of a relationship with Leng Ruoxue. How could he help? Moreover, he hadn't even resolved his own matter. I asked the butler to go, but President Ning refused. He even said that he wouldn't see me even if I went, Luo Xian said honestly. Boo-hoo. He didn't want to offend the Alchemist Association. However, it was obvious that his daughter had already angered President Ning. You're fast. Humph. You even said you were coming to find me immediately. You're playing tricks in front of me, Guan Yulong scolded angrily. Hee, Brother Guan Yu, we've known each other for so many years. You won't fuss about it with me, right? Luo Xian said with a smile. I will. I'll tell you again. I can't do anything about this matter, Guan Yulong said with a headache. His own matter was already annoying enough, but this old thing actually came to cause trouble. It was really infuriating. If you have problems with this website, please continue reading your novel on our new website MyBox Novel. Thanks. Brother Guan Yu. Luo Xian refused to let go of Guan Yulong's sleeve, his watery eyes still looking at him pitifully. Damn, you old thing. You're already in your 50s. Stop doing such disgusting actions and expressions, okay? Guan Yulong jumped up in surprise and said a little unbearable. Luo Xian had always liked to use such actions to achieve his goal when he was young, but he really had no choice in this matter. Are you really not going to introduce me? Luo Xian asked, still tugging at Guan Yulong's sleeve. I can't even protect myself now. How can I care about you? Guan Yulong had no choice but to tell the truth. Ah. I thought you had a good relationship with Leng Ruoxue. Didn't you tell me not to offend her? Luo Xian said in puzzlement. After the flower viewing convention yesterday, Guan Yulong had told him to keep an eye on his daughter and not provoke Leng Ruoxue. However, his disappointing daughter had offended her today, so he came to Guan Yulong to think of a way. She refused to see him after all. Good my ass. I reminded you out of goodwill because someone in my family offended her. In fact, the matter in my family hasn't been resolved yet. Guan Yulong roared furiously. Ah! No way! Brother Guan Yu, where did that woman come from? Even you can't do anything. Could she be from the Leng family? Luo Xian guessed. I don't know if she is from the Leng family, but what I can tell you is that she absolutely doesn't make me fear her because of the Leng family. Do you understand? Guan Yulong said very implicitly. After all, it was impossible for him to reveal Leng Ruoxue's identity to Luo Xian, even if their relationship was good. Oh, Brother Guan Yu, what should I do now? Could she? Luo Xian said worriedly, but he couldn't finish his sentence. Sire, tell Uncle Luo what happened. Guan Yulong said helplessly. Alas. He didn't have a willful daughter like Luo Xinger, but he had an ignorant and incompetent son, so he could understand Luo Xian's feelings. You're tuning in to the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.